My parents passed down a hereditary illness, but they never told me.
How dare they share my genes?
But you know what else is sick? The next 3 hours of health-related stories that'll make you grateful for what you have. So sit down, call your doctor, and let's get ready for the first story. I, 28 female, recently found out I have a serious hereditary illness that's going to screw up my life, and I'm so mad I can barely type this out. It's a degenerative illness, no cure, nothing. My body's just going to slowly get worse, and the kicker? My parents have known this could happen my entire life and never said a dang word. By the way, this comes from user Quirky Background 838 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I'm going to tell you right now, I kind of agree with not telling you.
Because, like, I mean, what are you going to do?
What's the difference?
Well, I think it's good to know, but I don't think they're terrible people for not telling you.
So this illness runs in my family. My dad's mom has it. His sister, my aunt, died from it a few years ago. I was living overseas when she passed, and my parents told me it was cancer. Cancer. They lied right to my face. Wasn't until I got diagnosed that they finally came clean and admitted that she had the same illness that I do. When I confronted them, my dad wouldn't give me a straight answer. I asked if he had it too, and he dodged every single question, acting like I was overreacting. My mom, on the other hand, tried to justify it by saying they didn't want me living in fear. Are you kidding me? I could have been prepared. Instead, they chose to let me walk into this blind, which is what would happen if you had macular degeneration. And here's where it gets worse. I have a 2-year-old son, which means that my child might have this, and they never told me that I was at risk. I could have had him tested, made informed decisions, but no, they took that from me, and now I live in constant fear for him too. Then my mom had the nerve to ask me if I would have rather not been born than deal with this. Can you believe that? She turned it around on me like I'm the monster for even thinking it. And you know what? Yeah, I said it. Yes, I would rather have not been born than to deal with this disease.
No way. I don't believe that.
It seems like a pretty hot take to me. I don't know.
I don't believe that.
In the vast, endless menagerie of color and experience that life has to offer.
Yeah.
I think that you could find some value in it regardless of what genetic
even
disorders
20 years of living life is
amazing.
Life is amazing.
Yes, I would rather not have been born than deal with this disease. They made a selfish choice, and now I'm paying for it. They knew the risks and did it anyway for themselves. They wanted kids, and now I'm stuck with this. I called them selfish, and I meant every word. Now they're begging me not to tell my younger siblings. They don't know about this yet and haven't been tested, and my parents want to keep it that way. They're hoping they'll get lucky, but I'm not going to lie to them. I refuse to let them be blindsided like I was. They deserve to know the truth. I've gone low contact with my parents. I can't stand to even think about them right now. My mom keeps trying to guilt trip me, saying that they were just trying to protect me. But protect me from what? The truth? No, they weren't protecting me. They were protecting themselves from the guilt of knowing that they passed this on, and now they want me to protect them too, but I won't. I love my son and my siblings too much to lie to them. I ended up telling my siblings. We met at my sister's house, and I just came out with it. I have Huntington's, and it's hereditary.
Y'all called it.
You should both get checked. My brother started panicking. He and his fiancée just started trying to get pregnant, and now he's terrified. He's furious with our parents and fully on my side. He confronted them right after, and now we're both going low contact. My sister was more shocked and distant, but she said she'll get tested. My parents are pissed that I told them without waiting for the right time, but I don't regret it. My siblings deserved the truth, and I wasn't going to let them live in ignorance like I did. And I think, like you said, there really isn't a right time for this anymore. It's the right time.
Yeah, the right time is as soon as possible.
So, am I the a-hole for going low contact and refusing to keep their secret, even though they claim they were just trying to protect me? I'm kind of split down the middle a little bit here.
I think OP is getting pretty. OP is upset, right?
OP's shocked. Like,
yeah,
I'd
it's
be
an
shocked.
emotional thing for sure.
But I do think that telling the rest of the family is good.
It's a good move, yeah, for sure. They needed to know.
They needed to know.
Parents, I think they were coming from the right place, but then in practice, it was the wrong thing. And I don't think it's fair to completely disregard their intent.
Yeah, I don't think they're
to kind of
terrible.
give you a better life instead of this thing where you have this giant anvil hanging over you that could fall on you at some moment.
The parents aren't terrible, evil people. They were trying to do what's best, but I do think it is.
It wasn't right.
I don't think it was right.
I told my siblings, we met at my sister's house. I just came out with it. I told them that what I had said and that it was hereditary. My sister thanked me for telling her and told me that she would get tested but seemed distant. I get it. It's very heavy, so I've been giving her space but made it clear that I'm here for her. My brother looked horrified because he and his fiancée had started trying for a baby, and the fear in his eyes was immediate. His fiancée, who works as a senior nurse in palliative care, didn't take it lightly either. She deals with degenerative diseases every day and had a family member die from one, so this news hit her hard. She immediately took control of the situation. She has a lot of connections in the medical field because of her work, and she's been pulling strings to get my brother's test done as fast as possible. She's also been making sure I get the care I need, reaching out to specialists she knows personally. She's actually moving things around and calling in favors to ensure that I'm seen quickly. Good for her. On top of that, she's been adamant that I need to see a counselor, pushing me to get emotional support. That is also so true. I can't believe we didn't say therapy one time during that entire discussion. Given her experience, she knows how hard this is going to be, and I'm grateful she's making it happen because I wouldn't know where to begin. My husband and I have also been having difficult conversations about the future. We've decided to make my will, and I've been clear with him about when I won't want to continue living if things get too bad. I've also started recording videos for my son. I watched P.S. I Love You years ago, and the idea of leaving something behind for my husband and son feels like a way to hold on to a part of me.
Aww.
Yeah, that's so sweet. And sad at the same time. We're planning to speak to a child psychologist soon to figure out the best way to prepare our son for what's coming, though we haven't started yet. And also to weigh our option about him and the possibility of him getting this illness from me. We're not going to make an uninformed decision. On Saturday, our parents invited all of us over to their house saying they wanted to talk. My sister came too, but she didn't stay long. As soon as my parents started explaining how they kept the illness hidden to protect us, she couldn't take it. She stood up, said she couldn't handle it, and left. She's been distant since, and it feels like I've lost her a little. I know she's terrified, but it still hurts to see her pulling away. After my sister left, everything exploded. My parents turned on me, blaming me for ruining the family and accusing me of causing all this chaos by telling the truth. No, they kept saying they did it to protect us, but I just couldn't respond anymore. That's when my brother's fiancée stepped in. She completely laid into them, telling them that they had no right to keep something this serious from us. She told them that they hadn't protected us, they had betrayed us. And I was so relieved that she stepped in because I didn't have the energy to argue anymore. Then my dad snapped. He started shouting at her, telling her to stay out of it, and he shoved me. I couldn't even react. I was so shocked. And I'm shocked as well reading this. My husband immediately stepped between us, grabbed my dad's arm and told him he'd better never touch me again. My dad just kept shouting, saying I was the one who was tearing the family apart and blowing everything out of proportion. But you can't blow getting like Huntington's out of proportion.
That's like the worst thing that you could be diagnosed
This is the debt that you have accrued, the parents. This is the debt you accrued after all this time of not telling them.
Like, get physical to the point where the husband has to...
So that was it. We left. My brother and his fiancée walked out with us, and since then, none of us have spoken to my parents. They've been calling, but I don't want to hear their excuses. They're still insisting that they did everything to protect us, but it feels like they were just protecting themselves from guilt. I don't have the energy for their manipulations anymore. But I'll always have energy for you to join us live on YouTube every week at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap that profile.
Yeah.
Every single day after 13 that these kids didn't know that they had Huntington's potentially was a mistake.
I think
every day,
dude, you got to go
and
earlier
that's this
than 13.
entire moment.
You got to go at least Harry Potter.
This whole
age.
blow up moment that they've
Harry
had
Potter
was
learned that he was a wizard
debt.
at 11.
They had to pay the debt that they had accrued after all that time of not having the truth out there.
There's a difference between like, hey, you're a wizard, between like, hey, you might not.
Yeah, you're a wizard.
Survivor.
Harry knew at 11.
You're a hairy wizard. The story is coming to a close. Right now, my brother and I are focused on getting tested. His fiancée is doing everything she can to keep things moving forward. She's been an incredible support, and we're relying on her to help us navigate what comes next. I'm focusing on my son, my husband, and preparing for the future. There's too much at stake to keep fighting about a secret that never should have been kept in the first place. And that is the end of that story.
Well, when do you think you should tell your kid that they have Huntington's? Put your answers in the chat below.
All right. I guess I see early, like, because the kids are adaptable.
That's what.
Before puberty.
Oh, sure. Listen to chat, but not me.
I feel like 11, 12, 13. That's before puberty.
Oh, now you're doing 11, 12. Wow. It really did.
You brought up Harry Potter.
Well, I was
11
just saying,
years old.
which is why I was saying like 13 years way too late. Harry learned that he was a wizard at 11, and you're just going to disregard Harry Potter.
Okay, 11 then. 11.
I mean, but like
that's
10.
still late childhood.
Yeah, but there's early admissions to Hogwarts.
My in-laws tried to steal my wedding spotlight, so I'm filing a restraining order. Don't let anyone steal your time to shine.
Get that 200-yard stick.
Keep them away. Hey, everyone. Hello. It's a little long, so I apologize in advance. So let me start by saying that this happened last December, but the dust has just recently settled, which is why I'm writing it now. So my wedding, apart from everything that I'm about to tell you, was a magical day. I got to marry the person that I love, surrounded by my friends and family, in a beautiful wedding that my partner and I designed.
Hey.
By the way, this comes from Eastern Reporter 8573 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, truly, if it hadn't been my big day, I might have found it funny. But instead, it was like living through a reality show gone wrong.
No.
Let me start off by giving some context.
Context in the beginning.
Context.
Thank you. We just put it in the beginning.
Thank you. My partner's parents never really had a wedding of their own. They got married in a courthouse. There's nothing wrong with that, though, because they were pregnant and had to rush things. They didn't really have money to spend on an event, so they decided to keep it simple, and they would do something big later, to renew their vows or something else. But they kept popping out children, 8 to be exact, that they never got the chance. Whenever they tell their wedding story, they always say that they remember it fondly and that it was one of the best days of their life, so no one knew or even suspected what they would do. I've never had the best relationship with my mother-in-law or my father-in-law. They have that weird relationship with their children where they're just a little too close, and it gets weird sometimes. They think that no one is good enough for any of them. When speaking about each child's respective partners, they always throw around phrases like, if I was dating you, I wouldn't be.
So weird.
If I was dating you, I wouldn't be?
No, I wouldn't be doing X behavior.
I was like, if I was dating you, I wouldn't be.
Shabbat shalom.
Or, why can't you date someone more like me?
Yeah. Why can't you date a woman like your mother? I'm perfect. I'm the only woman you need.
Which kind of freaks the partner and I out, but we look past it. When my partner proposed to me, it was one of the best days of my life. He did it on one of our favorite mountain spots with our dogs, and I cried. He hadn't told anyone except my mom and my best friend that he was proposing. He told his mother at Friday dinner, and she was fuming. She didn't even try to hide it. I can understand being upset because he didn't tell her, but she went on about how she believed that she deserved to be there as much as I did, and that she wanted to get proposed to as well.
Wait, what? The mom?
Yeah.
Opie's mom?
She's like, why didn't you propose to me? I'm his mother.
Why can I get a ring for the mom?
What the heck? When asked, she said that I should be the one to propose to her, to ask her if she would be my mother-in-law. No. That's weird. Told her that it was a little silly and she just stormed out of the room. We never really spoke of the incident again. A few months later, when we had set a date for our wedding in December, every time we would hang out with the in-laws, they started making comments about what they would have done if they had gotten the chance to design a wedding. Think like a tropical paradise theme, getting married on a sunny beach, serving piña coladas, etc. My partner and I have nothing against beaches, but we prefer the cold. So we just smiled and nodded our heads when they made the suggestions. We took it as innocent comments by 2 retired people who had nothing else to do but look at wedding shows on TV. It wasn't until I had to go wedding dress shopping that the issues started.
Oh, no.
I made the mistake of inviting my mother-in-law and sister-in-law to my dress appointment, thinking that it would be a nice way to bond. But no, that would have been too easy.
I feel like crab always goes down at
the wedding dress. Yeah. Because people, it's an emotion. It's like heightened emotions. Because it's already, for me at least, going clothes shopping is already a heightened emotional state.
Honestly, me too.
It stresses me out. I hate shopping for clothes.
Yeah.
And so I think when you couple that with kind of, for most people, the most important clothing item of your life, it's pretty pretty stressy. We get there and it all goes smoothly. I'm trying on a few dresses that I really like when all of a sudden I hear little giggles that I recognize coming from the other side of the store.
The little giggles.
Shut up.
Shut up,
Keep
little
your
giggles.
mouth up. I asked my friend if she could go check what was going on, and she found both of them hiding the dresses that I had already tried on and really liked.
What?
I'm gonna hide my fist in your face.
Nice.
Not actually going to, but metaphorically, I'm pretty upset. In a weird storage room that I don't even know how they got access to.
What?
And replacing them with brightly colored dresses that were more for a prom than a wedding.
How do you even think you're going to get away with it? If you're like I
Like,
think you like this prom dress, and you're like, no,
Opie's like,
I don't.
Where's the dresses I found? And they're like, you mean this pink one?
And they're
Opie's
like, oh,
no.
got you. And you're like, what?
I didn't really think much of it when they said that what they were doing was for my own good. Because it would be embarrassing if I showed up in a white floor-length dress to my wedding on the beach. I corrected them and said it wasn't on a beach and that I liked the other ones. They rolled their eyes and walked away.
Weird.
My partner also took them to the cake appointment, and he told me that they were insisting on getting a pineapple-filled cake with Hawaiian flowers on it. He also said no and moved on. Why are they obsessed with the beach? Do they just need a beach day?
Well,
You guys can go to the beach.
was it because they never got their wedding?
Yeah, and they're
wanted the
insisting
beach
on having a
wedding?
beach wedding with their little piña coladas.
I don't want pineapple on my wedding cake.
Don't freaking
I
want
don't want the pineapple.
on my wedding cake.
Put it on your pizza.
Yeah. I actually do like pineapple on pizza.
Shh, dude, chill. You gonna say that online?
There were so many of these incidents throughout the span of 3 months that I don't know how we didn't see it. Cut to the wedding, and everything is just perfect. I don't believe you, OP. We didn't, in fact, get married on the beach. We got married in a snowy field. A little impractical, and my dress got wet, but I had the best time as everyone is arriving for the ceremony. I'm getting ready with my partner in a little room when my maid of honor bursts through the door and shows us her phone. She was on FaceTime with another bridesmaid outside so that we could see what was going on.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
In the middle of a crowd of people wearing neutral and cold colors, I see this figure dressed in knee-length Hawaiian dress. It was bright red and did not fit in at all. And she was also wearing a sun hat. And of course, my father-in-law was wearing something to match her. I'm going to be honest, I feel like they're hurting themselves more
Yeah.
because they're just going to be cold. They're just going to be cold. It's
And-
like, okay, you guys are wearing that, I guess.
And it's just embarrassing.
It's
like,
just embarrassing.
what are you trying to get out of this?
Truly, it's like, okay, I guess you're in a Hawaiian dress.
Yeah, you showed me, I guess.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I tried to go out and confront her, but I was made to sit back on the phone and watch as my bridesmaids did it for me. They asked her what she was doing, and she said that she was told it was a tropical wedding, so it wasn't her fault, but that this wedding also needed color because I did it wrong. They kept asking her if she could change, and she kept saying no, so I just told them to leave it alone and that it was fine. That is the lamest excuse I've ever heard. What do you mean you were told it was a tropical wedding?
By herself. She was
Like-
like, I'm saying this is a tropical wedding.
No, but it's like getting an invitation for a wedding that's happening in, like, I don't know, New York in January, and you're like, oh, it's a tropical wedding.
you know, I wanted some
It's like
sun.
actively snowing. You're like, it's a
Yeah.
tropical
It's
wedding.
tropical. What do you mean? Why are you asking me why I'm in this?
The ceremony went by easily, and it was literally the happiest I've been.
Aw.
But obviously, it didn't go without incident, of course. I found out later that before I walked out, my mother-in-law tried to walk out before me by herself with a bouquet she got out of who knows where because she wanted to make sure that the walk was perfect for the bride.
What?
She's like, wait, I need to test it.
Yeah,
I need to test it out.
It's like when you're like, I need
yeah.
to try this to make sure there's not poison
Yeah.
in it, but it's the walkout.
She's like, I need to make sure it's not booby trapped.
Literally.
She even asked the organist to play the wedding march for her. Of course, she refused, and she had to sit down. The same thing happened with my father-in-law. He kept trying to stand next to my partner at the altar, so close that he kept pushing him over as if to move. His best man had to physically pull him to his seat.
Jeez, dude, these
Who are these
parents.
people?
I'm sorry, OP. You're marrying into this.
Yeah. Yikes. During the walk down the aisle, they both kept talking loudly and voicing their disapproval on my dress, makeup, hair, decorations, etc. Man. They were also told several times to quiet down, which only pissed them off more. They also audibly gasped when we skipped the part where someone objects to the marriage.
They're like, we
It's
object.
if anyone does not object, they just move past that and they're like, wait a minute.
Wait, what about the objection part?
Oh, that's the most important part.
What if someone needs to object? Us? Never, but someone.
Someone else.
Anyone? Anyone needs to
I might not object to this wedding, but I sure as heck object to this theme.
I object to the lack of pineapples.
They also loudly asked in the middle of the ceremony if I was really that insecure that I had to cut out that part. Oh my God. To which my partner
Wild.
answered that it was his idea and that they should shut up, which they promptly did. This is so funny. So the priest is like, or whatever, you know, the officiant is like, do you take this woman to be your, and the parents are like, well, she's so insecure. She had to cut out the objection part.
Someone objects,
And the
but
priest
you
is
don't want to
like,
hear it.
To be your lawfully wedded, and then the groom is like, yeah, I did it. Shut up.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
This is wild. This reminds me of like
I would love to go to this wedding.
like Step Brothers with like
Yeah.
the Catalina mixer where everything
Yeah.
just blows up.
I would love to go to this wedding. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of want to go to a crapshoot wedding where
I
everything just
kind of want to go.
explodes.
I've only been to good weddings.
Yeah, what's up
Boring.
with those good weddings going on?
You guys are not doing it
Are
like
you
OPs.
gatekeeping the toxic weddings?
Yeah.
Not chill.
After that, it was relatively easy. We got married and walked out. On our way to the venue, they insisted we give them our car, which had just married on the back, because we owed them. At this point, my partner just kept getting angrier and slammed the door in their face, leaving them to take another car. Once there, we thought that would be the end. It was not. We sat
no.
down at our table, and they were the first ones that walked towards us, once again asking if they could sit there instead of us. Because it was only fair that we had our ceremony, so they had to get the reception.
I'm like in shock.
You can't have everything. You're so selfish.
Whoa.
These are crazy people. They literally said, don't worry, we'll still take it even though you screwed up the tropical theme.
With a big what?
They're like, you might have a winter wedding, but it'll do. With a big smile on their faces.
What?
My jaw dropped. And my husband started to raise his voice when one of his brothers came over and took them away. They tried to come over during the meal, but were blocked by bridesmaids, so they had to wait until our first dance. We started dancing, and it was lovely, when all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see two figures swaying. I look over and see them bumping into people trying to get into the literal spotlight my partner and I were dancing in. Once again, they had to be held back.
Oh my.
This continued, and they looked ridiculous each time. They constantly tried to lure the photographers away to take their wedding pictures and got mad when even they told them they weren't getting married. And another fun thing, they got caught by some waitstaff trying to switch our cake with the pineapple cake.
Shut up.
Where were they storing it?
They snuck in the pineapple cake.
This is freaking contraband pineapple
They
cake.
had a baggie of pineapples,
were they just
and they're
adding
just
it?
like
That they wanted in the beginning. We were told, and before I could say something, my husband literally pushed them out of the venue into a taxi that was parked in the entrance.
I would lose my shit
I would go crazy.
if my parents were doing this at my wedding.
I'd be like, oh my
I-
God,
like-
take your cake and go.
Like police, take them out.
Yeah. He says that they kept arguing and saying that I had ruined their special day.
Their special day.
He paid them no mind and went back after sending them away.
I feel like if they're doing this behavior so unapologetically,
Yeah.
like OP's husband
Has got to have
has
dealt
had,
with
like,
this his
has-
whole life.
yeah. Like,
Like he was at his graduation, and they were like, no, wait.
This is our graduation?
Yeah.
I've checked. Like, I can't imagine how that he's that shocked.
No, I know. I'm like, these parents are clearly crazy.
Wild.
After that, everything went by smoothly until it was time for the bouquet toss. Oh no.
Also, I feel like this behavior would not it would never make sense. But the
Yeah.
only way I could logically understand is like they're hammered. Like
They've gotta be hammered.
Or like on a bunch of
Yeah,
drugs.
they brought pina
Like-
coladas as well.
Yeah, like sober people don't do this.
This can't be. As I turned around to throw it, I feel my veil being
No.
ripped out of my
No.
hair.
No.
I turn around and see my mother-in-law with my veil in her hand, waving it around, yelling in happiness, saying that she won. Weren't they sent away?
Yeah, weren't they?
We need some security.
Yeah, security. Come
4
in,
of my
take 'em
partner's
out.
friends had to hold him back because he was about to lunge at his mother. She kept saying that it was an old tradition that whoever got the bride's veil gets the honeymoon.
What?
She's like, it's an old tradition. If I steal your veil,
You owe me.
you owe me your honeymoon, and also I get to get married. Call the officiant back.
By traditional law,
Yes.
you owe me honeymoon.
I don't make the rules.
I don't.
I just enforce them.
But bring the priest.
The cops were called and took both of them away. My mother-in-law for the veil thing, and my father-in-law for driving under the influence.
Okay, so they were drunk.
Someone's under the influence.
Yeah.
Because while the taxi took them home, they drove back. Right, because the taxi drove them away, and then they drove back to the wedding to steal the veil. Nothing happened after that. We had a great time with my veil on my head, lol. And then my partner and I left. He was very mad and actually convinced me to press charges and file a restraining order about 2 months later because they kept showing up at our house, throwing wedding cakes at our house.
Up.
How much money were they wasting to cake your house?
This is wild.
And that's it. That's my wedding drama. Also, most of their family have cut ties with them.
This is
That makes
delusional.
sense.
This is like you need mental support.
Truly,
You're
something
throwing
is wrong.
wedding cakes at your
Something is wrong
kid's
mentally.
house.
Truly. Prince X says it's a German tradition, but it's supposed to be during the first dance. And she's like, I'm German now. I'm 1% German.
I am 0.5%
0.5% German. I just showed the post to my husband, and he mentioned a few things I missed.
Oh, it's more.
As you can probably guess, they got really cronked.
Okay. That makes sense.
We didn't have a set limit for guests on how much they could drink, as we know everyone has a preference, and we respect that. But we did tell bartenders to judge whether someone should still be drinking, and they judged poorly, these people. My in-laws were told that they couldn't drink any more up to 5 times, after which they got into the bartender's van, in which they brought everything. No one realized until after the event, when looking at the security footage. The bartender said it was fine, but we paid them a little more for the inconvenience.
Jeez.
But you know what? It's never an inconvenience.
Never.
Joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile. And there is a little bit left to this story, but cut these people off. Cut them off.
Wild.
These are crazy people.
This is wild.
These are crazy people who are caking your house.
They're caking your house.
I hope it's good cake.
But by
it.
German tradition, you do owe her the honeymoon.
You owe the honeymoon. Yeah. I don't make the
none
rules.
of the other stuff is excused,
Yeah.
but
Cut them off, but you owe them
you
the
owe
honeymoon.
the honeymoon. She got the veil, okay?
Yeah, come on.
She got the veil.
It's German tradition. They also behaved so childishly during the meal, they were throwing their food at other guests. So this is common. They commonly throw food at people, which was actually really embarrassing. They kept saying it was because my mother-in-law could have cooked better or she would have chosen something different.
She's like, this
She's
chicken
like,
is not
"This
charred correctly.
Chicken, I gotta cook the chicken so well.
This
And it doesn't
chicken-
have freaking pineapples on it.
I wanted pineapple, not chicken.
Give me a veil. And finally, they both got into a fight with my mother. I don't know how I forgot that. Apparently, my mother-in-law came up to my mother to discuss the ceremony and started saying how I looked puffy and that just didn't fit me well. I was 3 months pregnant, and we hadn't told anyone except my mother and some of my partner's siblings. And I didn't think I was showing. And my mom didn't say anything until she started saying how I was in this marriage for convenience and just overall crappy things. My mother told me she almost slapped her, but chose to throw a drink on her, and they didn't speak again. If my partner or myself remember anything, we'll update. Please do. Man, oh man, what a wild ride
That was
that
a wild ride.
I'm really glad that we read that, honestly.
Me too. That was entertaining.
That was
just doesn't seem like reality.
It doesn't. I'm shocked that these people exist, quite
Right?
frankly.
But please make a documentary about them.
Please.
Like, I need
hope
a
that you have
reality
wedding
TV
footage.
show with them being starred.
I really want you to have wedding footage of this.
You could just sell the wedding footage
Yeah.
to the studio. You don't even need to edit it.
You don't. Just leave it. It's kind of like a mockumentary.
Yeah.
But it's real. I would love that.
Now the bar is like so low on weddings. I'm like,
yeah,
if,
I'm like, wow,
if I'm not-
anything's better than that.
if people aren't trying to sneak pineapple in the cake
Yeah.
and like cake my house and steal my honeymoon,
It's a
then
pretty
like,
good wedding.
great wedding.
They kicked me out of the bridal party because of my injury. But I still went to the wedding?
Walk it off, OP.
Rub some dirt on it. One of my female 30 close girlfriends, female 31, is getting married soon. And I'm so excited for her. We have known each other around 20 years.
Besties.
The couple got engaged over a year ago, and my friend asked me to be her maid of honor shortly after. I was so excited to be able to stand and support my friend on this adventure into the next chapter of her life. By the way, this comes from user 1entrepreneur8796 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Fast forward to the start of 2024, and I managed to get injured, which resulted in me being in a brace.
Knew it. Like I'm calling leg injury.
The wedding was more than 3 months away, and that's how long I was going to have to wear the brace. 3 months. I didn't try to hide anything from my friend and told her of my injury, but reassured her that I would be out of the brace and fine before the wedding.
Okay, nice.
The bridesmaid dresses were all going to be for length anyway, and once I had the brace, I was not really limited in my movements. She discussed options with me, sitting or standing, if I was going to be on crutches, etc. Which, because I wasn't going to be in the brace by the time of her wedding, I told her that if something was going to be an issue, I would let her know ASAP. No worries. We moved on. Then the party was around 3 months before the wedding. A nice mixture of things, which all of the bridesmaids planned and put together. There was a communication mishap between myself and another bridesmaid, but my perspective, we both said our piece. And then I put it behind me because I don't have to be friends with everyone, but I don't need to create a problem for my friend by holding a grudge.
What's that one quote? If you're friends with everyone, or if you're enemies to none. What does that quote go like?
Someone said a face brace.
Someone said penis brace.
2 weeks later, I couldn't make it to a wedding dress appointment with the bride and the other bridesmaids to pick up the dress because of the medical appointments. One of the appointments was canceled the morning of, and as I had a second appointment to attend and had already said I couldn't make it to the dress up pickup, I didn't try to squeeze it in. So it was my friend and the other bridesmaids.
So she was fine.
2 days after, my friend had messaged me saying that because of my knee,
Pay up, sucker.
because of my knee, I shouldn't be a bridesmaid anymore.
Ooh.
But I could still do everything else with the other bridesmaids, just not on the big day.
Yeah, I mean, John has knee issues, but we don't say, hey, don't be a host.
Should
You
we?
know? Honestly, this is giving me some ideas. Hey, your knee injury, you can't be a host anymore.
To say this broke my heart would be putting it mildly. This conversation was over Facebook Messenger, and when I responded, I told her that, as expected, I wasn't going to be in the brace by the time of her wedding, and I would really love to still be able to be a part of it. I also had an overseas trip 2 months into wearing the brace, where I was doing an excessive amount of walking for a week. I explained that if I could do that trip, then any walking and standing at her wedding wasn't going to be a problem either.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Something's up. I think the
It's
beef.
the friend.
that-
It's
yeah.
the friend.
Oh, absolutely.
OP can't come to the wedding because she can't dance her butt off. Or like she can't do the party.
She can't twerk.
She
off.
can't
She
twerk.
can't join the twerk off. So we have to get rid of her.
She insisted that she was thinking about me and that me just being a guest would be the best. Say that 3 times fast. That's a fun rhyme, Dr. Seuss. It's her day, and I'm not going to fight to be where I'm wanted and where I'm not wanted, so I left it at that. I had already booked my non-refundable accommodation and other things, so I've decided to still go to the wedding because I will regret not being there. Plus, a week away from work, I'm going to enjoy a small holiday. I'm already out of the brace and in no way hindered by the injury, and don't even need to go back to see the specialist. I do want to ask my friend what the real reason is why she doesn't want me in her bridal party, and I have 2 of my own theories. But I won't ask anything until after the wedding and their honeymoon.
I think you should ask her friend why you're not in.
I would
Don't ask OP.
ask. I feel like you have there's got to be at least one bridesmaid that you're like close with.
Yeah.
Is this the real reason?
Yeah.
What would you do, both for the wedding and the friendship? There is an update.
I would talk to her, be like, hey,
I'm here.
Like the knee isn't going to be an issue because it's going to be out.
Are we hiking? Like what's the
Yeah.
party? Are we hiking? Like if
Yeah.
you think my knee's good. Like I can
Yeah.
like what John does. Where you guys like
Yeah, dude, it's fine.
just like show her that. Update 1. For those asking what happened at the hens.
Oh, that's what they call the girls or the hens.
At the hens, we had been planning the hens for one day and then a bridal party spa day the following day. In all the focus on the actual hens day, I forgot to book the spa. Realized a week out and began looking at alternative spa locations. The other bridesmaid accused me of ruining the whole weekend and her having to fix everything.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm telling you, that's what it is.
What did she get framed?
No, I think it's just the friend is just like that one bridesmaid that they were like not seeing eye to eye.
Gotcha.
She's like, she sucks. She's ruining everything. This is yours.
Ah.
You want this to be the best of the best. I was blunt with her that I don't appreciate the way she was talking with me, and I was aware that I had made a mistake. The most important thing was that the bride got her day with her friends to celebrate. The spa day was a bonus day.
Got it.
Update 2. The wedding has now been and gone,
Oh,
and I
boy.
have come away with more questions than answers.
Oh.
I am glad that I went, even though I had no idea what I could have walked into. I arrived the day before the wedding and had booked in for the spa package. The bride spotted me before I went in and gave me a very enthusiastic greeting for a couple of minutes before I went into the spa. What was supposed to be relaxing ended up being less so because I could slightly hear the two bridesmaids, the bride had left, through the wall of the spa room I was in.
TTT.
While I'm not a fan of eavesdropping, it was difficult not to pick up some of what they were saying and the tone in which they said it. So that initially made me slightly regret attending, as it gave me gave it a little confirmation that some of the events were influenced by them.
They're plotting.
I'm calling this.
I feel like the bride's super rich, and this is part of like their friend group, and they're like playing politics so they can be in their status, or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
Mean Girls.
Yeah, if we're nice enough, we'll get what we want too. Like we're like, oh, maybe we get like a fondue fountain.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want a fondue fountain? That sounds so fun. Regardless, it's not their information I need. It is a conversation with the bride, but the wedding weekend was not the time or place for that. The day of the wedding, I got my nails done in the morning because I had nothing to do, as the wedding was in the late evening. While there, I spotted the bride's family arrive, and I had hoped that her mom wouldn't spot me because I didn't know if I could deal with that. But of course she did. She did see me and came over to talk with me. The bride's mom, let's call her BM, showed me the same loving energy that she always has. She asked me how I was, and I was adamant that I was fine. Bride's mom then started talking about the morning plans and how we could catch up at the bridal party hair appointment, which then I had to explain I wasn't going to be at. This bride's mom know.
Uh-oh.
Bride's mom seemed confused at this and stated she knew I wasn't the maid of honor, but I was still a bridesmaid, and I clarified that I wasn't, and I was just a guest for the weekend. Bride's mom was in disbelief and told me that both she and the bride's dad were thoroughly confused by the bride's choice. Me too. Bride's mom did ask if I thought our friendship could return to what it was, and honestly, I said I don't know.
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions to be answered before it can be anything close to okay. Bride's mom then offered to back me up when I do sit down with the bride at a later date, which shocked me. But that is something I would never take her up on because I don't want to disrupt anything with their mom-daughter relationship. That afternoon, for the ceremony, I met a few other people. One person, after introducing ourselves, then stated, "Oh, you were the maid of honor. The bride had said you were in an accident and were in a brace." This caught me off guard. While I had no issues talking about how I had injured myself, it was normally on my terms and when I was in the brace, which was a visual trigger for questions. At the wedding, I was not in the brace, had no indication of an injury, and had never met this person before. So this gives me the impression that the bride had told other guests something, but I don't know exactly what or how much. The ceremony itself was beautiful. After the ceremony, the bride and groom did photos with the guests, during which the bride insisted on getting a photo with me. The bridal party then went off to do the official photos while guests moved over to the reception area. I expected, given that it was a reasonably late change, that I would be put onto the odds table. You know, the singles or attendees that are not a large enough group to be put onto a single table. Nope. To one side of me was the new maid of honor's husband, and the other side was the best man's partner. I don't know if they're married, long-term, etc. So you're like in the VIP pretty much.
Yeah.
These are VIP people.
Oh yeah.
Which you're a VIP then.
Yeah, you were. I mean, she was supposed to be.
I want answers.
Yeah, me too. Oh, B's like, I have more questions.
I have
than
more questions than
answers
answers now.
Yeah.
After realizing this detail, the free booze was even more enticing.
Ooh.
The reception was well done. The standard events occurred. First dance, maid of honor speech, best man speech, cake cutting, and then the bride and groom said a few words to everyone. At this point, I was okay with being angry at my friend, happy for both of them, but still angry at everything that had occurred between her and I. Then, during their speech to everyone, she thanked me by name. And as far as I can remember, I was the only person she thanked by name.
Do you think she feels bad for kicking her out of the bridesmaids?
You guys have been friends for so damn long.
Yeah.
But I'm still so confused. Why
Why are you not the maid of honor? I understand that you were so weird.
So now, instead of just being angry at how she handled this all, I am mighty confused. Because if I had really stuffed up, fine, tell me what I did, and we can move forward. Or the friendship can end, and that's fine. But if I had stuffed up, why was she thanking me?
Yeah.
Later, the bride came around and had a short chat with me. It was a very generic chat. And I was honest about it being a beautiful wedding, and that I was happy for them both. We hugged. Then she wanted us to get a couple of fun photos together, which we did. I didn't stay until the end of the reception. I'm in part because I was a little amped up about how the day had gone for me in terms of being caught off guard, etc. But also because I was getting wasted and didn't want to do anything I would regret. So after a couple of hours, I decided to depart. But you know what? Never depart us. Live. Because we're live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile.
I think she is giving off snake vibe.
It's very snaky because it's like
weird.
one moment like you can't, like, sorry you can't come.
Yeah, you're out.
But in everything else, like, I love OP. Like,
Yeah.
OP's my number one.
And she's only saying I love you to that person. Also, remember at the spa, she was like, all like, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's just
happening
just
here?
giddy because it's her wedding. I think she's
Yeah.
just,
Well, like at the spa day, she was like, oh, OP, and they had like a nice little check.
again, there's just more questions than answers that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Because no, like, she didn't replace OP with another bridesmaid. Like, oh, she's like, this new bridesmaid,
Yeah.
she's the best.
God.
If that was said, then I would be like, okay, she got replaced.
Yeah.
But there was no replacement. I did see the bride and groom again the morning after, as they said farewell to people. And my friend was insisting that we needed to catch up properly after the honeymoon. Now it's a waiting game for her to reach out once the honeymoon is over. I have no idea of their dates. I'll update again once we have spoken to close out the loop of her side of the story, or at least what she tells me. And that is the end of the story.
My friend went too far. She harassed my mom in the hospital.
Boy, oh boy, that's crazy.
Before I get into the thick of it, here's some background. I'll call this ex-friend Carol. We are both in our mid-30s. She has a child of whom I was the godmother. She is a cancer patient / survivor. By the way, this comes from user Dig a Freak. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. I am undiagnosed, but I'm almost certain I have a touch of the tism. I do have major anxiety, depression, and was diagnosed as borderline 14 years ago. So basically, I am not a people person, but not by choice. It's extremely hard for me to maintain friendships when I'm in a constant state of panic or in a large amount of pain. This bit of information will be more important when I get to the why I'm here. I want to reiterate that this woman has known me longer than anyone else aside from my parents, so I trusted her with my life. I trusted her with all of my problems. And she definitely trusted me, or I guess used me, to cover for her more times than I can count. She knew I'd have her back no matter what happened in her life. I would be there if she needed me. This is also important later. Now, the reason I'm here. My life since about mid-July has been a absolute crap slide through a cactus field on fire while being thrown through the air repeatedly from the invisible landmines of crap that just keeps happening. I was involved in a car accident 3 days ago. 6 days ago, today is the 21st, my mother was put into the ER. In February/January, my house's furnace gave up the ghost, and it was going to cost upwards of $15,000 to have it replaced. Thankfully, we found a cheaper company. 2 weeks prior, on the 3rd week of January, we had to borrow money to replace our washer that gave up. A week before that, the 2nd week of January, I had to have $2,000 worth of work done on my car's engine. I still have to get one thing done, but I can't because finances. 2 days before Christmas, my aunt passed away unexpectedly from a blood clot. 3 days before Thanksgiving, my wife's grandmother was found passed away from internal bleeding and an unrelated lung illness.
Oh my God.
This is just the 6 months of hell.
Yeah.
In the 2nd week of October, I had to borrow money to replace the control arms on all 4 of my tires unexpectedly. In September, I was officially diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos. I could keep listing stuff, but I think you all get the idea. Because my mother is in the hospital and I can't speak to the parent of mine who has always been the one to take care of these types of things, my panic was at a level I have never experienced before. So I reached out to Carol and confided in her that I think I'm not being told everything, basically. I will add that she and I have been distant since before her son was born, about 8 or 9 years. He got cancer when he was, I think, 4 or 5. So it's been a couple of years. I have proof that I was always the one reaching out and that I would always get one-word responses. Typically, this isn't an issue as I don't pick up on social cues like at all. Carol, I thought, was aware of everything I was going through considering we had been friends for so long. Now, I reach out to her and let her know my mother was in the hospital. She gives very short answers, but I believe is showing concern for my mom. I admit I don't ask her how she is, but I am obviously overstimulated, and I even say as much, which is completely different from how I typically am. As the days progress, I keep her updated as she asks. Then the possibility of surgery was mentioned, so I update her, tell her I'm headed to my parents to grab stuff for mom, and that I'd let her know when I got to the hospital. Well, I never made it to the hospital. I got in a car accident. I reached out to her to let her know I won't have an update because of the accident, so she wouldn't worry about why I wasn't answering. The accident happened at 6:25 p.m. She asked me to keep her updated again, so I do. I get out of the ER and back home at midnight. The message I got from Carol was at 12:48 a.m. and nothing was wrong. My wife has to be up at 6 a.m. to be at work. We finally lay down after my anxiety finally relaxes. I have my phone turned all the way up in case my mom needs me. My phone starts ringing at 1:48 a.m. We had just gotten to sleep. I freak out, grab my phone, and see it's Carol. After I put my glasses on, I see she sent me a paragraph basically telling me that she hates me and she wants to give me the old 1-2 combo. I have screenshots from Messenger going back 2 years to prove I wasn't the one not trying to communicate. Just throwing that out there. She threatens to call my mother, who is in the effing hospital prepping for surgery, at 2:40 in the goddamn morning. My mom sent me a screenshot of their conversation since she can't talk and it has to be over text. And this woman tattles on me and tells my mother that I think they are hiding something from me while she's in the dang hospital. She's in the hospital because she coughed so hard she cracked a rib. One of the multiple air bubbles in her lungs burst, and then the pain med she was given made her kidneys malfunction, all of which was told to Carol prior to her issue. Carol, however, conveniently leaves out the part where she said she wants to hit me and that she hates me. The next day, she doesn't call me out by name, but the things she posted were nasty. Unfortunately, I don't have screenshots of the post as I had blocked her after she called me over 16 times and called my mother twice. What is going on? Why did she flip like this?
So crazy.
Why? What happened? Did I miss something?
Well,
what happened?
Isn't Carol's daughter like diagnosed with cancer or something?
Right.
So that is crazy, and that is, Carol's losing it a little bit, which makes sense. However, taking it out on OP and his family, that's wild because they're going through their own things.
Yes, this is unbelievable.
Leave him alone.
Before I blocked her, I sent her a voice message that said, basically, I'm sorry that my life is a crap show, and her using her cancer as an excuse for talking to me like that is a problem, as she knows cancer is a huge trigger of mine. I have reached out to her and never gotten any response other than okay or thank you. She never in 8 years ever once asked me if I was okay. I also ended the voice message with, I love you, but I no longer think of you as my sister, and I am done. I lost my closest cousin 15 to 16 years ago to Ewing sarcoma. She was 16 years old when she passed away, and I was 20. At the time, Carol was too high on life, which is substances, to give a crap about me when I called her while I watched my cousin get buried and had my second ever mental breakdown. Dude, girl, this is not your friend.
Yeah.
I don't think this person has ever really been your closest friend.
That's what we're figuring out, I think.
Like, there was a line in here about how OP doesn't pick up on social cues.
Yeah.
I think you missed the social cue that Carol has never been your bestie.
Yeah, honestly, because you can be someone's friend, you can hang out with them for years and years, whatever, chill out, be close with the family, whatever. But to be really close, you have to be there during your hardest times and not berate them like what's happening right now.
True. If anyone wants to see the messages, I'll share them. But am I the a-hole for cutting ties with a lifelong friend over her saying that she wants to hit me? So first of all, no, absolutely not. Cut this person off. Move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Find a new support system. This person is not your friend.
Not at all. Once you're so many of these other things could be reasons to not be friends with this person anymore. But once your physical safety is in jeopardy, dude, it's over. It's
Yeah.
100%.
Your physical safety is in jeopardy. She's harassing your mother who's hospitalized.
Yeah.
She's calling you 15 times in the middle of the night to berate you.
Yeah.
I don't know. She sounds like she's got her own problems to work through as well. But I want to let you know that you can be here for us and listen to full episodes with stories like this on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search OK Storytime and you will find the complete archive, which I think is now like 49 consecutive days long. So that's a whole lot of hours.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you'll never have a boring airplane flight ever again.
Yes.
Or road trip ever.
I realized I forgot to mention that she didn't know anything about what I listed regarding what was happening in my life, only that my mother was in the hospital. I never said anything else about what was going on in my life until my mother and then the car accident. And I only reached out to ask for her advice 2 days after I let her know my mom was in the hospital. And there are some comments here. Comment 1, I feel like I missed something. Carol texts you with so much rage out of the blue in the wee hours of the morning. I feel like there's so much missing, but I think the key issue is BPD. I suggest ongoing therapy to help you navigate your friendships and not be so intense with people. It's above Reddit's pay grade to unpack this, but under the guidance of an experienced therapist, you may be able to develop friendships that don't overwhelm the people you meet. I'm sorry for your losses, your mom's illness, and the financial hardships. It's part of life, so if it's a big loss or suffering in your family, your friends will care, give you sympathy, but then they need to get back to their own lives. And OP responds, yes, I agree. I'm currently in the process of getting myself into intensive therapy. So I completely get where you're coming from. But about Carol, yes, it was completely out of the blue. Part of why it was so off-putting to me was because of the way things changed so quickly. Quite honestly, it scared me and reminded me of our childhood when she used to use me as the verbal punching bag when she would get mad and I would just let her do it. I'm not trying to trauma dump, so please excuse me if that is being taken that way. I just honestly remembered that as I was typing this. What I can say with absolute certainty is that she is a regular substance user and she does have a mental illness, if not multiple. And I'm no professional, obviously, but I've been there for her so many different times that as her quote unquote best friend, it scared me beyond emotion. And as for myself, I'm diagnosed with a few different things already. I completely understand that they have their own lives, and I truly hope she can live hers happily. I appreciate your input. Thank you. And that is the end of that story.
I refuse to attend my friend's wedding because I don't think it will last.
Ooh, that's kind of a bad reason, I'm not gonna lie.
So a few weeks ago, one of my ex-sorority sisters, let's call her Sophia, 22 female, posted a photo of her and her boyfriend getting engaged. It was a very pretty post and she looked so happy. Once her and her boyfriend had gotten back from their mini vacation, she was really happy to show all of her friends, family, and anyone else who would listen about her engagement. By the way, this comes from Economy Musician 5297, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, when she told me, 20 female, I congratulated her and talked to her about the proposal and her plans for the wedding. She mentioned that she wanted to invite me, but didn't have my address. And I wasn't sure what to say because I honestly didn't want to go. So I just didn't say anything. Right off the bat, with zero context, pretty bad attitude.
Bad communication, not a good sign.
Yeah. Well, no, just OP. Like, oh, I didn't want to go.
Well, I mean, sure, but
She just got engaged.
like the moment like that you tell your friend like, hey, I don't think that relationship's like good for you or gonna last is like before their wedding.
So I just didn't say anything. To be honest, I don't really like to talk to anyone that I was in the sorority with. I had issues with this one girl, let's call her Karen, 20 female. Well, me and Karen were pretty close friends my first semester of college, but by my second semester, she was one of the worst people I've ever met. She had constantly lied to mutual friends about me to the point where they dropped me. The only friends I had at that point were my sorority sisters. She also constantly talked crap about literally anyone. There was one time we were at a girls' basketball game and she said, "Do you see number 22? I nodded and was like, "Yeah, who's that?" Then Karen said, "She's such a witch." I was taken aback, but then assumed they knew each other. So I asked, "What did she do?" Karen said, "Nothing. She just looks like a witch." Dang. But also, how is this relevant to you and Sophia?
Yeah, how is that I mean, like she's just like a judgmental like meanie maybe?
Yeah, Karen's So you're not going to Sophia's wedding?
Or maybe it was just the way that girl played basketball. She was like, oh, I could
like,
tell.
No, something's off. Karen would also sometimes come to parties with us, except whenever she did this, she would drink maybe a few sips of whatever, then pretend to be wasted because she's such a lightweight.
Hate it so much.
So everyone played along and took care of her. I stopped going out with her because one time I could tell she wasn't really wasted, but made me help her walk, which turned into me half carrying her and she went to throw up. She pretty much just dry heaved into the toilet. I told her I was going to get her a change of clothes, and when I came back, she was playing with the toilet water. Ew.
Gross.
That's when I was done pretending and set the clothes down next to her and left. We also had this joke. Karen would always tell me and mutual friends that she never had a boyfriend or her first kiss. She then would tell us that she really wanted to change that and ask for advice. I would just tell her to be herself and be confident. I would even start conversations with guys for her when she was being really shy and make conversation until they were talking on their own. The joke was, Karen can't get a boyfriend because no matter how much my friends or I tried, she never tried to get one. At first I thought the joke could hurt her feelings, but she always laughed at it and said it herself, so I didn't think anything of it. Wait, that is a mean joke.
You're like, wait, no, that was
Yeah, she's
mean.
probably laughing because you guys are laughing at her and she doesn't want to. I don't know. It seems like none of you guys are really nice.
Yeah, I can't see a good guy in this story so far.
Yeah. Just to clarify, I never thought that she had hurt feelings, but if someone said that to me, I'd be a little upset, so I would laugh with her. My friends had joked about this for months, and when I felt more comfortable with them and wanted to fit in more, I had said the joke too. All of my friends started laughing except for Karen, who pulled my hair. She pulled it so hard that when I took out my ponytail, a big chunk of my hair came out. Yikes. She then started pulling my hair anytime I would either say something she didn't like or stick up for myself to her. I think Karen compared us a lot, so it was somewhat of a competition to her.
Hey,
Why
so
me?
when people start like pulling your hair, you have to tell them, hey, don't ever do that again.
Or get some sort of, like, I know it's in a sorority, but I'm assuming you've got some sort of RA kind of situation in there.
I feel like nothing is being spoken.
Nothing is being done.
Yeah.
They're still in college. They could definitely put a stop to physical attacks.
Yeah.
The excuse she gave for pulling my hair was that we were like sisters and sisters fight. I don't know about her, but my mom has taught me to keep my hands to myself. That was just the first time she pulled my hair.
So, but like, I'm not going to lie, if she pulled your hair and then you didn't immediately go, hey, so don't ever do that again.
Don't ever do that to me again. I'm going to report you for your behavior.
I don't really have any sympathy for you if you did not tell her to stop and put up a boundary.
She ended up reporting me several times for bullying too. The first few times I didn't really care because no one believed her and I wasn't the only one she was treating poorly. It wasn't until the last time she reported me that I got upset. This was because she had a video of me talking crap and showed it to my sorority. The video was actually taken by my roommate, who was also friends with Karen. What had happened was that I have regular therapy appointments online. My roommate knows this and knows that I have to be alone in our room for it. I was talking to my therapist about Karen because my sorority was holding a meeting to address her behavior. Okay, so at least it seems like I have more sympathy because it seems like you were trying to address it.
Now that there is evidence of communication, my sympathy levels have increased.
The reason we were doing it with my sorority was that they wanted to make sure Karen couldn't lie her way out of having a productive conversation, kind of like an intervention. A few hours after I got off the call, my sorority's president, Sophia, called me. She yelled at me for bullying Karen and threatened to take disciplinary actions, strip me of my position, and do the same to my friend, let's call her Lily, 20 female. I went to the chapter house to talk to Sophia because I had no clue what she was talking about. She showed me the video, which was taken on the other side of my bedroom door, and I could hear myself talking about Karen clearly. I explained that I was on a phone call with my therapist and that this violated Colorado state video laws. I looked it up to sound smart at the time, and HIPAA. She looked almost embarrassed. Nice, OP. Bring up the facts. Apparently, Karen had also told her that Lily was there to try and get her in trouble too. I don't remember what I said exactly in the video, but out of context, I don't blame Sophia for thinking the worst. I was upset though that she had threatened to take away my position and put me on probation without even asking my side of the story. Months later, I have become somewhat nice with Karen because we were moving into the chapter house, and the rooms we picked out were right next to each other, the only ones in the basement. I had originally planned to share the basement with a friend, but Karen took that room before her, and there was no switching. So anytime she was a little rude or obnoxious, I ignored it. Sounds like everyone in this house is kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like everyone is just like silently seething at each other under the surface and not bringing up any issues that they really have until they just start boiling over.
This does, No, I've heard very great experiences with sororities, but this does sound like a very stereotypical sorority experience.
It doesn't, or it does?
No, it does.
It does.
It sounds like
I'm not tapped into sorority experiences.
Nor am I, but I'm saying, like, whenever you see a movie about sororities, I feel like this is what they portray them as, which is, I feel like
Just mean.
I
Just
would-
the movie Mean
yeah,
Girls.
just the movie Mean Girls. But I feel like, I don't know, if I was in this situation, I wouldn't want to be in it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't end up going to like a big
never-
university or anything, but like like frat life or whatever, to me, I was like, that's like, why would I want to
I don't know.
do that?
It's also quite expensive.
Is it really?
Yeah, we didn't have really sororities or I mean, we technically had them at UCSD, but they weren't like official in the same way that, like, you know, bigger colleges were. But I never did it. But I know that a lot of friends who did were a part of sororities. It's like you have to pay, especially if you're living in the house.
It makes sense, I
You have
guess.
to pay
yeah.
a lot. So anytime she was a little rude or obnoxious, I ignored it. I think she considered us friends again, but I never forgot what she did and that she never apologized. Yeah, I mean, she was pulling your hair. You
Yeah.
don't have to forgive her for that.
That's that's physical violence.
I like report her to the freaking, I don't know, dean.
But did you tell her to stop? That's my thing. Like,
Presumably.
I feel like it was like that's like, instead of being like, don't do that again, she was like, you know, like, and again, this is just a
Yeah.
theory, but it's like this person leaves and then she goes like, did you see that?
But
And that's of course nothing's gonna change
honestly,
if you do that.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think sometimes when people are in those situations, it's really hard to like stand up for yourself when you're being kind of literally attacked. But I do think that you should absolutely have gone to the dean or something, like bypass the whole sorority system and go straight to someone at the school. So eventually, I think she started comparing us again, and she started talking crap more. I was used to this, but it made me feel more uncomfortable because she was comparing our bodies this time. She is heavier and struggles to lose weight. It's harder for her because of her PCOS. I, however, am fairly skinny. She'd always talk about her weights and compare them and how I had smaller front airbags. I ignored this again, but this time she also reported me for hazing my little. Little stands for little sister in a sorority. I am supposed to be her mentor. What happened was that my little and I went to a party and Karen was there. I was holding my little's drink, which I made her drink water because she had wasted a little too much. After an hour or two, she had gone to the bathroom and looked a little better, so I gave her drink back. Later that night, I sent my little home with Karen and the other people in my sorority because they had a designated driver and she was drinking too much again. I decided to stay because I had other friends there I could get home with and didn't want to leave that early. This wasn't the only time we did this either. So when Karen reported me for hazing and leaving my little alone, it was really because all of the other members there had to take care of my little and she was upset she couldn't pretend to be wasted, so they would take care of her.
I don't, again, I'm not tapped in, but isn't hazing like the part of it? Isn't that like a part of the process for all that stuff? Or
but
I guess they made that
I think
illegal,
yeah,
or
I
they
think
made that
it's-
bad now?
You can get into a lot of trouble.
Well, then, okay.
Yeah. Whenever anything involving hazing happens, the sorority has to report it to nationals. Because my chapter had a problem with hazing 10 years ago, they had already told the standards boards that they needed to suspend my membership permanently or they would lose the charter. This was all before they heard my side of the story. The reason I didn't try to overturn this is because of the rule they said I broke. Taking water from a member and handing them booze is considered hazing. This was true because I was holding my little's drink, and when she was looking better, I took her water and gave her back her drink. The reason I think this was stupid is that I never once made her drink anything other than water, and she was never in danger. So I ended up getting suspended, and that's why I'm no longer a member. Well, also, I feel like, I don't know,
These clubs are dumb. I'm going to say it. They're dumb. Sororities and frats. Sure, you
I
can
don't
make
think
connections.
I don't think
but
they're
all
all
of everything
dumb.
I just heard was dumb.
I think this one's dumb. I don't want to, because I know people who have had good experiences. I think this one is dumb because I think it's a little bit silly to be like, we're suspending you because you handed her back her alcohol. I feel like it would be like, wait a minute, they're all drinking alcohol and they're underage.
Yeah, like, do you not know that your entire organization is propped up on underage drinking?
Like I'm
that's
confused.
dumb.
Why would that not be the main issue there? Like, wouldn't you not want to tell anyone that that was happening because then they would know that you were drinking underage?
Again, dumb.
It's interesting.
And to be clear, I'm not saying the people in it are dumb. I'm saying the system itself
Well, it seems like the
is
people
like
in this
weird
one,
and dumb.
I feel like the people in this one are the problem.
Well, sure, they can be problematic. I just don't want people to come at me for being like, oh, you're calling all these people dumb. Are you calling me dumb? I was in a fraternity. I was in a sorority. No, I'm saying the system is dumb.
After I moved out of the house and reflected on how I was treated, I decided to distance myself from the members of my sorority, even the people I was close with. I moved schools and everything so I wouldn't have to see any of them and be closer to family. Wow. So you had it really, really. I mean,
Dang.
you again. OP was being attacked. Like someone was grabbing her hair. That I would have left that situation much sooner. But you went through a lot. This was because I realized that no matter how badly Karen treated me, they only made excuses for her actions and said they didn't want to take any disciplinary action against her because they were afraid she would drop out of the sorority. Good. Even though a lot of them were nice people, I felt like they never had my back like true friends were. There was even another girl, let's call her Trisha, 21 female, who tried to convince them that I was attracted to the same gender. This was because the girl she was interested in had flirted with me at the party. I didn't even know she was flirting with me until she bluntly told me she liked me. I then told her that I was flattered, but don't swing that way. When my friends told me about Trisha, I felt very uncomfortable because I'm more of a reserved person, and Trisha had said things like, I bet she loves effing women. I wasn't there and don't know exactly what she said, but that's what I was told. I felt even more uncomfortable because my friends told me they didn't tell her she was wrong. They said this was because they were people pleasers and didn't want to upset her. What is going on with all this? Oh, we didn't want to upset her. We didn't want her to leave the sorority. Like, no one's being held to any sort of,
Well, Karen's certainly not.
No, it's this is ridiculous. When they saw how uncomfortable I was, they told me it was no big deal and that I should get over it. Why does no one care about OP leaving the sorority?
I don't know.
I wonder if there's some sort of like legacy thing, with Karen.
Ooh,
she's like
that is another
you know,
dumb thing that they do.
Trisha even-
Not, wait, and it's not always dumb, but clearly this apple is a little. It's got a couple.
Yeah,
got a couple worms in that apple.
I'm just to separate myself from Dakota. I'm just hating on this one.
I'm hating. I'm
hating on the bad parts.
I usually just like to hate on like entrenched dogmatic systems of power and governance.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say, like frat and sorority houses. It's like, we've been around for hundreds of years. It's like, yeah, and I don't care.
Yeah, I think that there can be good things that come out of them, but I also think that sometimes
yeah, again,
sometimes
it's not the
great.
people. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the process.
When they saw how uncomfortable I was, they told me it was no big deal and that I should get over it. Trisha even went out of her way to tell the guy I liked that I was attracted to the same gender.
It might be sometimes the people though. Now that it might be
that's-
those people.
See, that's what I'm saying. I feel like in this story, it's the people. They just
it's both
happen to
now.
belong in a sorority, but the people. Fast forward to today, Sophia and her now fiance are really happy together. The problem is he has cheated on her, if not still cheating.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Almost everyone in the sorority has told her, even girls he has hit on before. I went to a small school with a small Greek life, so pretty much everyone knew they were dating. I was about the only one who didn't tell her because I already knew others had, and she refused to believe them since no one had evidence. I saw it as a pointless fight that I wanted to avoid. He was her first everything, so I can see why it's hard for her to accept, especially when people don't have proof. And besides, if she doesn't want to believe a dozen people and chooses to be cheated on, then there is nothing I can do about it.
That is big facts.
Sure.
There is nothing you can do about that.
This is why I think the marriage won't last. I believe either someone will show her indisputable proof that her fiancé is cheating and she will leave him, or he will leave her for someone else. I also never really felt very close with her. I always got the feeling that because no one in the sorority really liked her, she would kind of keep me in her pocket as a last resort friend. She also had a private entrance to her room in the chapter house. It was a fire escape. Dang. That's sick. She would leave the door open to let her room cool down during the day. The house didn't have AC, and because she wanted to feel close to nature. Since my window was under her stairs, right where the head of my bed was, I could hear random people walking up and down those stairs at all hours. Given that we lived in an area with a really bad homeless substance and crime problem, it was concerning. Oh, because she was leaving the fire escape open. One night, I heard someone on the stairs, which I assumed was someone's DoorDash. I looked out my window and saw a homeless man. I couldn't see what he was doing, but I quickly texted Sophia and asked if she was home and if her door was closed. She said she was at work and that her door was open.
Girl.
I immediately went into her room, closed her door, and locked it. I heard the man quickly run away from the house. Later, I brought it up with Sophia privately and told her to keep her door closed. She, of course, ignored me, and eventually our house was broken into.
Girl, that is not a private conversation. That is a public conversation.
I would have that. I would get all the sorority girls together and say, hey, Sophia's leaving her door open.
Yeah.
I'm worried that we're going to get broken into.
Yes, this is a public shaming for the safety of all type scenario.
Yeah, that's like a thing that you send in the group chat and you're like, hey, someone's been leaving their door open. Make sure you keep it closed. You know, where you're not.
No,
directly
even
going-
beyond that, I'm not being ambiguous at all. I'm like, group meeting, living room. Sophia's keeping her door attached to the fire escape unlocked, which would allow anyone on on earth
Anyone
to
can
walk
come in.
into our house.
Everyone was there, including guests of the chapter, except for Sophia. She was at her boyfriend's house that night. The next morning, I woke up, went to the kitchen, which was right next to the president's room, and heard her pounding on the door. I asked why she was knocking on her own door, and she said someone was in there. Not that someone broke in, just that someone was in her room. So I asked, someone we know or some random person? She just looked me in the eye and said, some random person. I don't really want to go into it too much about the break-in because it's irrelevant, and I don't really want to talk about the details. The bare minimum of what happened was she left, and 3 people broke in around 2 a.m. They stayed in the president's room all night. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Sophia would say things like, oh, I wish I was there with you guys. Or my favorite, we're now trauma bonded. Okay. I'm from Texas and find all that insanely stupid. Where I grew up, not many people would say things like trauma bond, let alone in the way that she did. She also seemed more worried about her stuff than the fact that everyone else in the house could have been seriously hurt. Her mom drove up from their house a few hours away to help Sophia clean up her room. While she was there, her mom commented on how ugly my sunburn was from when I had to stand outside forever while watching the police search the house. I had to start taking antidepressants for 2 months after. I've had depression and anxiety most of my life, but I've never really had too many symptoms and managed it with therapy. Suddenly, that wasn't enough anymore. My anxiety has only gotten worse since then. Most of it revolves around my fear of getting hurt in some way, and this incident just proved my irrational fears right. Dude. Okay, again, this is not like an every sorority or every frat thing, but this feels so culty. This feels so culty to be in a situation where like things are just so terrible for your mental health and people are being actively terrible to you and you're like, well, I can't leave. Like you can. It's going to be cheaper to leave.
You can, but then like, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in the head of like a 20-year-old.
No, I know
college girl.
because like everyone's telling you, oh, like this is what you have to do. Like there is that kind of peer pressure that does feel kind of culty in a way.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like, of course, you being like, you can go to the president, like if you're being, you know, if she keeps pulling your hair, you can do that. You can go to these authority and command structures, but
That
it's
don't
like
do anything.
at that point, it's like then you're just gonna you're gonna probably further ostracize yourself.
Exactly.
But like you shouldn't care because these people are all kind of you know, crappy, and you don't need to care about ostracizing yourself from, you know, a big pile of dung. But
no, like anyone who is currently in a cult, not a cult. Sorry. Anyone who is currently in like a sorority or frat, if you're being mistreated, like just know that there are better options than that.
Yeah, you don't have to be in it.
You don't have to be
but
in
you
it.
can also like try to assert your dominance.
That's also true. Like stand up for yourself. And
Yeah.
if that's not working, like remove yourself from the situation.
Become
Prioritize your
the
own
alpha.
mental health. And again, like I know I have a lot of friends and you know who have gone through sororities and have had a great experience. So this is not like an every sorority or frat experience. But if you are in that situation, just know like you do not deserve to be treated poorly.
Yes, our situations are malleable, and you can get out of that one. Like you just
Just leave. So a few weeks ago, when Sophia asked me if I wanted to go to her wedding, she seemed upset when I didn't answer. I reluctantly told her that I'm joining the military and couldn't be there, which is true. I have MEPS later that week. That'd be funnier if it wasn't true. He was like, I'm joining the military.
I'm joining the military. Don't try to find me.
I'm going off the grid. I just didn't say that they might not accept me because of my mental health history, which I think is unlikely after talking to recruiter, but still could happen. But you know what is going to happen? You listening to full episodes of stories just like this, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. It's going to happen.
That's going to happen. It's going to happen right after the story.
There is a little bit left, but going back to the original question of this story of should OP go to this wedding or not?
No.
It seems like you don't like her. It's because OP was like, oh, I don't think their marriage is going to last. Honestly, it just seems like you're not friends with her. And that's a good enough reason to not go to this wedding.
Yeah, not friends, actively mistreated you.
He's cheating on her.
Yeah, and you're right. You know, at the very beginning, I was like, I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah.
You can say that.
Can say that.
He's actively cheating on her.
I think when someone's been kind of not a good person to you, you don't have to really, you don't really have to give them anything.
You don't, especially not
You don't owe
your
them
time or pretending that you're happy for them at a wedding.
Yeah.
You don't really care about them at all.
You can just say, sorry, I'm busy that day. Bummer.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit left. She started crying and said, how would I know if I can't make it? She hasn't even set a date yet, which is fair. She then said that I was being a bad friend because I couldn't be there for her on her special day. Sophia told other people in our sorority about it and they agreed with her.
So,
Who
but see
cares?
now, that's the moment when I'd be like, well, is it that special? Because he's cheating on you.
Yeah.
He's been cheating on you. Everyone's told you that he's cheating on you and you don't listen.
They told me they don't like her either, but her packing it up and going. Some of them asked why I couldn't just be happy for her.
Because
which I
she's
said
being cheated on.
Which I said I am. I just don't really want to be a part of her life, especially after everything that I experienced while I was there. I was surprised to hear from Karen, who told me that I'm a terrible person for this, and she always knew what kind of person I was. So would I be the a-hole for not going to a wedding I don't think will last? You already told us that you moved schools. You left this sorority. Block all of these people.
Great snakes, my
Anyone
guys.
who texts you and says, you're a terrible person. I knew you were a terrible person all this time. Blocked.
And then they can go, and you can't even hear them.
Even hear it. No, again, if you are in, honestly, it doesn't even just apply to sororities or fraternities. If you are in a bad situation where you're surrounded by people who are mean to you or don't prioritize your mental health or, don't care about you, do not continue to keep yourself in that situation.
Yeah, and
Just
don't feel
remove
pressured to
yourself.
go to their wedding. Tell them they're getting cheated on and block them.
Yeah, if you don't like someone, you don't have to keep hanging out with them.
It's true. But you're going to have to
man.
stop hanging out with us because that's the end of that story in the end.
My wife doesn't feel like my wife anymore. I want to take her to the hospital.
You need to be fixed.
You need to be fixed. Your brain ain't braining. My wife, female, 26, weighs 104 pounds and is 5'6". Takes Zepbound 10 milligrams, Fluvamixin 100 milligrams, and occasionally Trazodone 50 milligrams for sleep. She was prescribed Zepbound. Are these real names? For weight loss. Moving to maintenance shot soon, while the Luvox is for her OCD. The Trazodone is for insomnia caused by her OCD. That is the list of prescriptions. Write the list. She has been doing okay with her Luvox though she still struggles sometimes. She's been taking it for about 3 weeks now, which before she was on Lovavaxatin for 50 milligrams for about 6 weeks. By the way, this comes from Best23819. If you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So last night, while rocking our son, the Blink camera in his room started blinking green. She texted me and told me to unplug it, and also our daughters. After laying him down, she started freaking out about the technology in her house. She said they were watching her children, that the cameras needed to be ripped off the walls. I tried to reason with her, but she had this crazy look in her eye and asked if I was working with them. Then for the next 30 minutes, she went around and unplugged all our technology, TVs, Google Home, took cameras off, etc. She's going full tin hat mode, and then put them in a box to hide them in the bathroom. She then hid herself in the bathroom and wouldn't come out until I told her I believed her. That's crazy. That's a little crazy. I coaxed her upstairs and she told me she could see people in bed, but they weren't scary. Okay, she's going, this is a little wacko. This is a little wackadoodle. She also said she could hear people walking, and while she was downstairs, someone kept walking up behind her. Shortly after, she fell asleep. However, I woke up this morning and she had moved to the couch. This morning, she seems out of it, but remembers most of last night. She said she's still scared that she didn't feel in control of her body last night and basically is drawing in on herself. That seems like, maybe time for hospital. I almost called 911 last night because I was worried she was going to try and take the kids. I'm still worried because what was that? Is she safe? Is she okay? Should she go to the hospital even if she feels normal now? It all happened out of the blue. We got some comments. Kelmanak says, yes, go to the hospital, full stop. Tell them the meds she is taking along with any recent medications changes. She is having a psychotic episode and it can be treated in the hospital. What do you think, John? There's more to this story.
Yeah.
There's more comments, but do you think OP should take her to the hospital?
Yeah, I mean, literally, what an insane thing to have to deal with where your partner's just doing all that and you're like, what's going on? Why are you behaving like that? I 1,000% think you should, just to be, safe rather than sorry, because you never know if it's going to be what exactly is going to happen. What do you do? Go to the professionals, and like you said, think about the kids. The fact that the kids are involved here makes it even more, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you really yes, she has her autonomy and can do, what she wants, but also, yeah, like you said, when your kids are involved, you gotta act quick.
Yeah.
You
Get
know?
help.
And get help. She's having a psychotic episode and it can be treated in the hospital. Don't let this just self-resolve at home when there are children around, as she shouldn't be trusted with them currently. Uncle Jack says 100% this. She might not be happy about it at first, but this is the best thing you can do for her health and for the safety of your family. Do not accept no in this instance. The sooner it's addressed, the better the chance of a good outcome. It is not her fault, but she is not herself, and psychosis can lead someone to completely wreck every aspect of their life until she is treated. Do not leave her alone with the children. OP says, will the docs take her in even if she seems okay? She's not talking about being watched anymore, but I do have her upstairs trying to nap as she said her mind won't be quiet for her to sleep last night. Yeah, she needs help. She needs help.
Yeah, 100%.
I've messaged her psychiatrist already while I try to keep the kids quiet. We're hours away from family, but I'm going to call them anyway to have them head up here to help with kids so I can help her. And then Neolithic says, please OP, listen to this advice and take her to the hospital. A close family friend exhibited similar behavior symptoms after giving birth, and one day her husband came home to the baby lying in the bathtub crying while she was huddled in the corner having a full-blown conversation with Jesus, who apparently was in her toothbrush.
Oh my.
Yikes. That could have ended badly.
Yeah.
Could have ended very badly. Luckily, the child was not injured, and she ended up getting better only because her husband got her medical help. Postpartum psychosis is not a life sentence unless you ignore it. And OP responds. First of all, thank you everyone for the advice and concerns and well wishes. All right, at least OP is kind of taking the advice. Good. She tried to take a nap, but couldn't fall asleep. She said she feels anxious and slightly paranoid, but otherwise okay. However, she's very scared of it happening again, and she said it feels like someone else controlled her. I'm getting ready to leave to drop her off at our psychiatric hospital. She's very worried about what will happen there, but if you are the praying type, the good vibes type, or whatever it is you do to wish well on people, it would be appreciated for her. I hate leaving her, but last night was terrifying for both of us. I want her to get the help she needs and be okay. Okay, it seems like OP's taking the necessary precautions.
I feel for OP, especially in the first moment, because I feel like any of us would be so thrown off because you're like, what is happening right now? It would take like a beat to click in, but it seems like he's making the moves. He's getting there. Get her help. Try to get someone to watch the kids, and then you can be there with her in the hospital and figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Monday Wallaby 6608 says the prospect of staying at a psychiatric facility can be scary, but I'm sure knowing she has a partner who cares about her and loves her and is nearby will help. Just know that if she ends up inpatient, it can take a while for a bed to open up, but generally means sitting in the ER for a while. We got an update one day later. Again, thank you all so much for the outreach of help and concern. It truly is amazing and gave me so many resources while we've been talking to doctors and everything. First, for the good news. My wife is okay.
Great.
She is going to be okay. She got admitted into our psychiatric hospital for a few days to start some treatment. That includes new medicine, counseling, getting established with an in-person psychiatric and therapist. The doctors at the ER were amazing with her, and she got to call me from the hospital phone.
Wow.
Amazing. To let me know she's feeling safe. That is great.
Yeah. Honestly,
Hearing her
that's good.
voice, though, I can tell she was tired, but was amazing. The doctors and nurses on the phone were telling me how good it was she came voluntarily, that her support system at home was good, and that so far she was being a cooperative and pleasant patient. I haven't had any childcare yet as our family is driving up here to help our children. However, I was able to get on the phone to listen to what the thoughts of the psychiatrists are. Unbeknownst to me, my wife told the doctors that she has had an increase in paranoia and auditory hallucinations over the last weekish. Wow. She has told me different times this week how on edge she feels, but never explained further. I feel awful for not having noticed before. Don't put that on you, OP.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard enough for someone to know themselves. And I don't know if you're fully prepared for all this, but maybe this can be a learning lesson for how you can be with this.
And again, can't put it on yourself.
Can't put it on yourself, yeah. A psychiatrist told me she was at the right age for mood and thought disorders to start developing, specifically schizophrenia, but that normally one wouldn't realize until after their first episode of psychosis. Most people apparently don't even go to the ER after their first episode, brushing it off as a one-time thing. Obviously, I want to do more tests to get an image of her head with tons of blood work and more doctors. It sounded to me that that's what they were leaning towards, which I will not lie scares me, as the only thing I know about that is from TV or movies. She told me there was medication that can really help manage that, and they wanted to start her on antipsychotics. She can have visitors tomorrow, and I'm bringing her all her favorite comfy clothes, no strings or zippers, and I will sit with her once family gets home. I miss her so much. This is, from a really hard situation. This kind of turned out pretty well.
They're growing together. This is a way of OP being there for her and show, if anything, I feel like at least their bond and relationship has strengthened, and she probably feels like, oh wow, okay, I feel kind of safe and secure in my husband's hand, and the husband is like, okay, I'm going to be here for wife, and we're going to work through this together.
If anything, this might have brought you guys closer.
Yeah.
It seems like OP knows a little bit more about his wife, right? So it's yes, this is a really hard situation, but wow, this
at least
is
a silver lining there.
Silver lining. for sure. Again, I want to thank this community so much for urging me to get her seen, even though she seemed fine. Y'all are lifesavers. For those who have similar stories, I see you, and I hope you and or your loved one is doing okay. Thank you again. We got some comments with OP's responses. BB Monster says, I'm so glad your wife is getting the help she needs and deserves to have. I've been a psych nurse for over a decade and have also been inpatient in a psychiatric facility, and I have perspective from both the patient and staff sides of the wristband. Item suggestions: soft, comfy clothes with no strings, buckles, clasps with sharp edges, or possibly zippers. Each facility's policies are different. Light reading paperbacks, adult coloring books with coloring pencils or markers if allowed, crossword books, Sudoku, word find books, etc. Stuff to keep the brain engaged but not too taxing intellectually. A journal or other writing space for processing emotions. Her treatment team will probably continue to reach out to you to come up with a safety plan for when she goes home and how you two can work together as a team to keep her safe. This is amazing. This means encouraging medication compliance, attending follow-up appointments, and kind of pretty much what you were doing before, just kind of keeping an eye out to see if anything feels off to you. You may notice behavior changes as she learns new / different coping mechanisms and groups, etc., while hospitalized, and integrates those into her life post-hospitalization. She'll probably also still be adjusting to medications / med changes, so she may need a lot more sleep. Healing brains take up a lot of energy. Please try to be mindful of both these things. That said, you are also going through a time of it walking this path with her. Please give yourself grace, which I think OP definitely needs to give himself. With her, please give yourself grace. It feels like you're not living up to your usual standards. Please make sure to engage in self-care. We got some more stuff, but wow.
I mean, incredible advice.
Incredible advice.
Yeah.
I think they're really like the comments for once are nailing it on the head.
Thank God.
Thank God. Quest for Starfish says, I've been wondering about your wife since your original post. Thank you for the update. It's fantastic that she's okay. You did all the right things in noticing she was not herself, asking for help, and following through by getting her to the right place. Take it day by day. We have lots of very effective treatments nowadays, so she'll get back to herself with those and with support and love of the family. Best of luck. And wow, happy ending. But that is where that story ends.
My friend destroyed my vision. I'm half blind now, but she doesn't care.
Oh my goodness.
I'm 26 female in dental school right now, and my friends and I went to play badminton at school. I was with one partner and we were playing really well. Then we wanted to rotate partners, so I got paired with a girl. I'll call her Dana. She doesn't really play sports, but it seemed like she really wanted to be my partner, so I said sure. By the way, this comes from LevelGur4795, and if you want to submit your stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, while playing, we bumped into each other a lot. I don't think she's very good at sports. When I called on the birdie, she would still go for it. Long story short, we collided once more, but this time she swung her racket directly on my eye. I lost my vision for 2 hours and I went to the ER.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
just gray, nothing else. That's so scary. But she was laughing the entire time.
What the heck?
I feel like it was nervous laughter. I tried to stay calm and positive just because all my friends were there. We're also going to be in the same class for the next 4 years, and I didn't want to create tension. Either way, I noticed the entire time she was just laughing. She went to the ER with me, but she was still kind of nervously laughing. I had to go to the ophthalmologist next morning at 8 a.m., and the tests they did on me were uncomfortable and painful. It made me think about how I'm spending the one day during dental school where I could have taken a break. Instead, I spent it there, and I was dilated that I couldn't study the entire day. Everything was blurry for about 7 hours. Doctor said I have damage on my retina and some bleeding in the back of my eye. Oh my God.
Yikes.
My vision should return in 1 to 4 months, but there's a risk this vision loss could be permanent. And then there was a get together with the same friends, and she was there. She was laughing the entire time again and joked about my eye too.
Read the freaking room.
Oh my
dude.
God. I'd be like, actually, I might never get my vision back, so
Yeah.
it's not really a joke.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to understand the severity of the situation, and it irks me. Now I want to ask her for compensation, cover all my Uber fees going to and from the hospital, and my optometry appointment fees. I didn't go to class today because my eye didn't feel great, and I didn't want to see her face either. Today, she went for sushi with her classmates, and I saw the group photo, and she's smiling so widely, it bothered me even more. So funny. I was like, she was smiling, just too happy. I don't really know how to handle the situation. I don't want to create drama or tension. I also don't want to affect my relationships with my other friends in our friend group. But I'm effing pissed, man. and scared that this could be permanent. How do I continue this friendship? I don't know how to handle this. I don't think her parents know either. I didn't tell my parents because they're going on a Europe trip and I don't want to worry them when they finally got a vacation. I just feel stuck. And there is an update. OMG, I did not expect this post to gain so much attention. I'm trying my best to read everyone's comments, so sorry if I don't respond. Just as an update, I reached out to Dana, as some of you have suggested, and I asked her to compensate. Whoop, whoop, good. I told her I wish to keep good relations with her and that I like to be transparent about my situation. I told her that I have been paying everything out of pocket, which has not been easy.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man now.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the balloons. But let's get back to the story.
And it's been a difficult time for me because this vision loss has been affecting my mental state as well. She said, yeah, of course. Let me know how much and I can send you what you need. And then she sent me $200, even though I didn't ask for any amount. Seems probably not enough to cover everything. She said that should be enough for now. For some reason, her response felt empty. It felt more like she was compensating for broken glasses. It sounded like she wanted to send the money and end it there. But at least I know that she's open to pay for the fees. For the past few days, she's been going out, eating sushi with friends, apple picking, and having a lot of fun. She seems unaffected. I don't need her to drop on her knees apologizing her heart out, nor do I need her to give me special treatment, but I'm not sure if this is appropriate to the situation. If I hit my friend in the eye to the point where she had to go to the ER and lost half her vision, I would feel extremely worried. I don't think I'd be able to think about going out, but that doesn't seem to be the case for her. I told my close friends about it, and they said the same. I know some of you have mentioned something similar as well. So emotionally, I decided not to see her or treat her as a friend anymore, just as a classmate. I saw some of your comments on that, and you're right. She doesn't seem like a friend at all. It's been a really hard past couple of days. I can't see well in low light. My right eye vision would have a dark blind spot, but in bright lights, it seems okay, just blurry. Adjusting to this has been hard, and it's been harder trying to figure out how to tell my family afterwards. So I really, really appreciate everyone's support and encouragement. It warms my heart. And it brings me hope that things will get a lot better. Today, I went to my family optometrist just as a checkup, and the optometrist said that I will be okay and I have nothing to worry about. He also saw the blood inside the back of my eye and that I will have visual impairment for about a month or so. Fortunately, he already sees signs of healing. That's great.
Good.
That's
I'm
great.
so relieved.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
My eye starts to hurt if I use it too much, though, probably because it's trying to adjust to the dark areas that cover the top half of my vision. I've been keeping that eye closed when it starts to hurt, so I plan to use an eye patch to relieve some of that fatigue. Good. Unfortunately, I have to wear that during class as well. I'm really glad to hear that this will only be temporary. I was upset about why this happened to me, but perhaps it was an early warning sign to stay away from Dana. I usually try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not sure if she deserves it. To be honest, I don't know if I want her $200 anymore. It feels like dirty money to me. So maybe I'll just send it back to her. I might update more later. Thank you everyone for now. And there is a second update.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, honestly, just like cut off Dana. She seems
Yeah.
like, meh.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add, I'm not sure how feasible it is to sue Dana. As a dental student with a lot of student debt, I don't think I'd be able to afford it. And perhaps this would be something to do if I lose my vision permanently rather than the state I am in right now. Unless anyone has any further advice on this subject. I mean, I honestly think like if you're thinking about suing, just ask her, like bill her, you know?
Yeah.
Do
like,
that
ask
first
her
before going through all the lawyer stuff.
Yeah. And then just like threaten. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, this is how much it costs because of what you did.
Yeah.
If you don't pay this, like, I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Which
think
will
that's
be way more expensive.
But there is a third update. I read some of the more recent comments, and I see some people saying to take the money and get over it, or to stop stalking her on social media. I'd like to clarify the photos that I'm seeing are ones she's been sharing in our friend group chat. I have not looked at her social media, nor am I interested. I think like the main thing that like honestly the going out with friends, all that stuff is not like really the dead giveaway for me. It seems like Dana hasn't checked in with OP at all.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if I hurt someone, I'd be like every day I'd be like, oh my God, like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Can I give you a ride to the,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, she's literally like
Like, it seems
gone
like-
to multiple doctors.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, she hasn't heard anything
Yeah.
from Dana. Not really.
It's been 3 days since the accident. I've spent 3 days at the hospital, ophthalmologist, and optometry clinic. I've missed out on the events and hangouts that were organized by my friends and school due to my eye, where she went to every single one. Even on the night of the accident, I also haven't been able to study or attend class. So she's been sharing how much fun she's been having with her classmates, which makes me question why she's trying so hard to make me feel left out, because she didn't really share photos before. Again, I am aware that this was an accident. I don't need her life to end or be miserable. I don't need her to mourn or drop to her knees and apologize or anything. I just wonder about her intentions. They don't seem great. I don't need her to be guilt-ridden, but I would have wished for my friend to at least be concerned about me. I did not expect my friend to laugh when she hit me, laugh when I said I couldn't see through that eye, laugh or gossip while we were at the ER, or still go out having fun, even at the night of, and post photos consistently in our group chat while I was spending those past few days going to the hospital and clinics, worried that this was going to be permanent. Again, I don't need her to feel super guilty, cry for days, not live her life, but just as a friend, I would have hoped for her to still be there for me. And her actions felt a bit insensitive for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I see some mixed responses as well. It seems to range from suing her, forgetting about it, or ending her dental career. I think I'll just stick with communicating with her privately for now and see how everything goes.
Sounds good.
But you can communicate with us by watching full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Just search up OK Storytime. And in terms of her money, I could just keep it like some of you mentioned. Just thinking about the future and long term, though, I hope that the $200 isn't used against me by her. I think that's my biggest concern. Some people in the comments raise concerns whether she's a true friend or not, so I'd like to be cautious. Not being able to see through half of my eye has been scary and an adjustment. I called my parents today and told them my situation, and they got really worried. But I told them I was okay and was able to end the conversation well. So I'm glad that part went okay. I appreciate everyone's feedback, and that is the end of that story. My coworker hid her disability on a dating app. I told her it's dishonest.
Yes.
This is a tough one, and I'm genuinely curious to know what people think. So here goes. I have a coworker called Caroline, who, as you can guess, is disabled. She's in a motorized wheelchair and can't really move a lot, but is still very capable for her job and a lovely, fun person in general, by the way. By the way, this comes from Deep Season 1577, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, we were talking on a break about dating and dating apps, how I had never used one and how she did, talking about our experiences. Casual conversation, really. And we were careful not to go into detail or anything or make each other uncomfortable till this came up. She brought up how she didn't disclose that she was in a wheelchair or disabled on her Tinder bio because it tended to scare people off or make people uncomfortable when they chat through the app. This confused me because it's very obvious she's in a wheelchair. And if they went on a date in person, they would find that out very fast. There is absolutely no way she can function in daily life without it, so she can't exactly stash it nearby or something and just sit on a chair during the date. She also told me that she does not tell them at all until they show up to the date and see the fact she's in a wheelchair right in front of them. Anyway, I maybe stupidly pointed out that is it not dishonest to not share that she's in a wheelchair on her bio or disclose it to potential partners before meeting for the first time. She told me that everyone on dating apps lies about stuff, so she doesn't see the big deal. I told Caroline that it's not like hiding you have a twin or an accent or a particular way of looking. This is something that will heavily impact their dating life with you, and they should be aware of that going in. She's a wonderful person and shouldn't feel awkward about it, and there are plenty of people out there who aren't fazed by their partners being in wheelchairs, so I didn't think she should lie about it. She went off in a huff saying I didn't understand, but now I'm worried I'm somehow being the a-hole by telling her this. I know it's not really my business, and I never would have told her this if she didn't ask me / hadn't brought up the subject at all. I just didn't want to lie to her about what I thought, and I tried to be tactful, but I think it blew up in my face. Am I the a-hole? And quick clarifications, she asked what I thought when she mentioned how she hid her disability on the app. I'm guessing she saw my surprise in my face when she said that. I would never tell her or anyone, in my opinion, on a delicate matter like this if they didn't ask first. And there are some comments. Do you have any thoughts before we jump into the comments?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're an a-hole for bringing it up. I mean, it really just
She
would
asked,
depend on
so, yeah.
the context of like, how are we saying things? In
Sure.
what way did we say it?
Yeah, were you like, you're a liar?
Yeah, were you like, you should feel disgusted
Yeah,
with your
you
dirty
disgusting
liar
little
soul.
liar. Yeah.
Your dirty soul is rinsing away.
Because if you said it like that, then you'd be the a-hole. But if she said, what do you think about this? Do you think that's okay? And you're like, well, it's, it's not necessarily, you're not the a-hole for telling her if she asked. But also, I don't think she's necessarily the
Which,
a-hole
like-
for going about it that way either.
Because she kind of might be right. You might not get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
you do
might
have,
not get it.
Yeah.
'cause
I mean,
we're not disabled.
I'm complete. Yeah. Like as able-bodied people, we go about the world completely different. So we don't understand those, how it feels to have to kind of assess or suss people out on dating apps
It's
specifically.
like my dating profile doesn't have that my back is always messed up and out of whack. Like,
yeah.
they find that out later.
Later. Some of OP's commenter says, not the a-hole, you're entitled to your ideals and opinions, and she's entitled to her. Her lived experience is that she gets far fewer Tinder hits if she adds the information to her bio, so she opts to leave it out because she wants people to at least get to know her before rejecting her on that basis. Feel free to lay all of your cards on the table in your personal Tinder profile. OP says, yeah, I think she's absolutely entitled to live the way she wants, and I don't really think she's being a bad person in any way for hiding the information on her Tinder. She asked what I thought about it. I replied honestly, but now I wonder if I'm a prick for telling the truth. Commenter says, not the a-hole. I would recommend apologizing though. Whoever she dates can decide for themselves if they want to continue seeing her after the first date. It's not like she'll be hiding this from them for 2 years and revealing it right before the wedding. Exactly. It's gonna, first date is when you decide whether or not you want to have another date. So OP says, oh yeah, I apologized immediately, but she's still in a huff with me. And now I just wonder if I should have kept my mouth shut, to be honest. Commenter says, in response to this confused me because it's very obvious she's in a wheelchair. And if they went on a date in person, they would find out that very fast. And they respond, have you considered that there is maybe a step or two between them reading her profile and them going on a date? I think it would be weird not to bring up before meeting in person, but I think it's fine to leave it out of the profile and then bring it up in chat or messages or whatever. Some people would definitely not try and connect with someone with a disability, but be okay with it if they were clicking with the person. OP says, oh, I get that entirely. Don't mistake me. The fact that confused me more is that she didn't tell anyone anything until they met in person. If it were me, I'd want to know at least before showing up to the date. I know there's plenty of chatting in between, and then it's not relevant, but to say nothing at all and just let them be shocked on the day, that seems odd to me. Commenter says, for what it's worth, I strongly agree with you. I can understand her perspective, but it seems like she's setting herself up for even more disappointment than those apps usually bring. I'll be honest, I wouldn't date someone in a wheelchair because there are a lot of things I like to do that would be off limits to do together. I'd have the same response to someone who was just uninterested in those activities. Obviously, it's different if you're in a committed relationship and that person becomes disabled later on. I wouldn't leave someone I love. That's part of what you sign up for. And OP responds, I worry more than anything that people would get angry or upset or lash out at her for not being straight up before the date about her disability. Someone could be really violent about what they view as deception, and she won't be able to defend herself. In general, you should be making sure that you're in a public space. Like that is always a thing, especially when you go on dates with strangers. Like, you should be preparing yourself and making sure that people know where you are and you're in a public space in general.
100%, yeah.
I don't think that is necessarily like a fair point.
I think that's like at any point at any time during anyone's day, it's like you could find yourself in a violent situation, but it's like, I don't know, got to be prepared. I think that's a little. I think you could probably tell, like, maybe I shouldn't go on a date with this guy. He seems a little unstable.
Yeah, I just think in general, like, if you're going on dates with strangers, like, you should have a plan, you know? Commenter asks, are you close personal friends? Have you hung out with her outside of work? Are you in a line of work where people discuss things openly all the time? Also, have you considered that disclosing wheelchair use can attract predators, which is what someone mentioned before? As a disabled person, I would be very hesitant to use an app to meet people. There is no good time to disclose a relative stranger that you're more physically, socially, or financially vulnerable than the average person. Opie says, we're good friends outside of work, like we hang out and get dinner once a week and catch up about various personal interests we share. I wouldn't have been perhaps as honest if I didn't know her well. She brought up the conversation to me first, talking about her date on the weekend before and how it went, with how the subject of online dating came up. I want to know how that date went.
That's the key, right?
Yeah. Did it go well? Did it he storm out? What happened? Also, I'm very aware of those factors. I just think it's a bit dishonest to not inform someone when you agree to a date and they don't say anything about it till they show up to meet you and see you in a wheelchair.
Like, really quick here.
Yeah.
I think that we're focusing a little too much on like the deception of like
Yeah.
date number one. Now, if this is something where it's like you've been talking for 4 months
Mm-hmm.
and you've like, oh, let's meet up, blah, blah, blah. And you for 4 months didn't disclose that you had, a disability or you were in a wheelchair for that long.
That would be
That's when
different.
I'm like,
That
all
would be
right, now
different.
you're kind of wasting our time here.
Yeah, it's
But
like, okay, why aren't
just casually talking and then you go to the first date. It's like,
yeah.
by the way, I'm disabled. And I'd be like, I don't know. I think that's she's probably figured out that that's just the way that works best for it.
Yeah. But there is an update. Since there's been a few questions or comments about various parts of this, I feel obligated to share more info. I apologized immediately after she got huffy with me. I did not just let the matter sit. Whilst she is still a little bit off with me, we have not stopped speaking by any means. While she is a coworker, I would say we are also light friends, given we get dinner together once a week and catch movies together, share hobbies, etc. That feels more than light friends
Yeah.
to me.
I was about to say, like, that feels like
Like, maybe I'm just incredibly busy, but I see like one of my best friends like once a week or once every 2 weeks,
I'm really not liking the term light
Yeah.
friend. Like, it's like
What?
light mayo. Like, can we like not? That's your
Like
friend.
yeah, that's
You
your,
know?
that's your friend. You see them once a week, and you work with them every day. That's your friend.
Not to put OP on blast, but
Yeah.
I think I might be sensing why their
Ooh.
friend kind of got a little huffy with them. I don't
Yeah.
think they probably said it in the best way.
Yeah, I think that is possible. But I don't know how well our connection would be if we didn't see each other 5 days a week. Oh, okay. If that makes sense.
Oh,
so they're saying like it's more of a work thing.
circumstantial friend.
There are people you meet through work that became lifelong friends and those that are friends throughout their shared workplace but fade after. I just don't know where we stand in terms of that yet. I have stated and continue to point out that I never would have said what I thought if she had not asked me for my opinion. It isn't my business how she dates, and I fully understand, even if I can't relate, that dating with a disability is not easy, and there are a lot of warning signs she needs to be aware of, like people with spicy fixations and so on. And I recognize that she should not put the information in her bio. However, to not disclose it before the first date when they are about to meet in person for the first time is the main point. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, we met today at work and had lunch together, as we often do. And she brought up the conversation from the other day. Caroline admitted that she wasn't angry with me, but more with herself because, in her words, I know it isn't right to not tell them if we're going to meet up, but I think it's easier to hide it at first and judge their reaction in person.
Exactly.
I know it's not the right thing to do if I really like a guy, but sometimes it's less daunting when they don't know. I explained I understood and that I didn't judge her. I just hope she can understand that she asked me what I thought, and I don't like to lie, but I probably should not have said anything. By the way, I've got to say something, and that is that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
Oh, yeah.
Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Perfect ending, I'm
Yeah.
feeling. Like, that's
I agree.
reconciled because it's like, sure, she is being duplicitous. She's lying, but it's like, that's her truth and experience or whatever, and she's frustrated because she's like, yeah, I know I should be, but this is just what works.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's like judging their reaction in person does give you like a great
Absolutely,
immediate
yeah.
sense on like, all right, is this person someone who I could really
Mm-hmm.
have a relationship with?
Because I think there is kind of this, it probably is very hard to judge that in an
Mhm.
accurate way over text and stuff.
Yeah.
My opinion has not changed from the beginning. I think I would probably suggest doing it before the first date, but not on the profile. But, again, she has a different lived experience.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I think it's not,
Yeah.
and it
I don't think anyone's the a-hole here.
had a potential to like kind of go the wrong way if like
Yeah.
OP was just like fixated on it, like I can't, she's a liar, she's
She's
this,
a
and it's like,
liar! Yeah.
no, it's really not even a big deal whatsoever.
No.
It's like such a small deal.
Yeah. There is a little bit left to this story. We agreed that it's a very nuanced subject and each person with disabilities has it different, so it's hard to say what works for each person. Caroline said she would try being more honest in the future with potential partners, And I said it wasn't my place to judge, and I wished her luck with dating in the future. All in all, we both acknowledged we were both a-holes and not a-holes. It's a different subject, and neither of us have a place to say what everyone should or shouldn't do when dating. And that is the end of that story. And all seems well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do see some comments that are like
Yeah.
just really calling out that it's like deception and like but like I agree. However, it's all about timeline.
I also
from
just
my
think there's-
perspective, all about timeline.
I think to me there's just like levels of deception.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a little white lie versus something that's like, oh my God, this is, you know.
It's execution too. It's like
Yeah.
if you make it weird where it's like, hey, so you're probably wondering what's up with my chair.
Yeah.
Well, that's still actually kind of funny. I think leaning into doing it like as
Yeah,
a funny,
like, hey, you
being
probably
like,
weren't expecting this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I
like,
just hit you
not
with a
just
curveball,
glossing
right?
over. Yeah. Yeah. And then
Uh,
maybe having that conversation in person would
just
probably help too.
Being like, I know what you're thinking. No, the wheelchair is not for aesthetics.
I know what you're thinking. I'm shorter than I said.
Yes.
Like you could make jokes. You can
Yeah.
make jokes about it.
People with disabilities, they like, I find they
Yeah.
prefer levity and like and to like not making light of it because like
Yeah,
their
then
whole
being
life
like,
it's
"Oh,
been
so
like
serious.
so serious their whole life. Everyone's always so serious, and they're
Yeah.
just like, why can't anyone make fun of me?
Can anyone make jokes these days?
Yeah.
I refuse to share my inheritance with my stepsisters because we never got along.
Ooh, sorry. You should have played nicer if you wanted my V-Bucks.
Womp womp. I, 31 male, refuse to give my stepsisters any of my inheritance. My father began dating a woman when I was 8 years old. He and my mother had already split. The woman he began dating had 3 other children from another relationship. Me and my stepmother never got along. I never got along with her or her children, and this relationship only seemed to get worse when I moved in with my father when I was 12 years old. By the way, this comes from Maleficent Split 7986, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So for context, my father is a very emotionless man. He made it very clear to my stepmother that she would not parent me, and he would not parent her children. Each would deal with their own children, a rule which he abided by, and she did not.
Wait, Gramps said this?
No, this is
Oh.
OP's dad.
Oh, okay.
Got remarried, and they both have children, and he was like, we got to stick with our own kind. We can't be cross parenting here.
Oh, yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. To be clear, although he was not emotionally there for her children, he did buy them everything they wanted.
Which, as we all know, is what matters most
Of course.
in every story we've ever heard.
Exactly. They went to private schools. They always had the latest tech and money, and when they came of age, he bought each of them a car. Spending money was my father's way of being emotional. This is exactly how he was with me. All the way through my teens, she would increasingly try to control my life, what I could do, where I could go, what money I was allowed, what I could eat. If I mentioned it to my father, he would talk to her, and it would stop for a couple of months, but then begin again. The cycle continued all throughout my childhood, and to be honest, nothing she did really bothered me. After years of being around them, they all just became irrelevant to me. As harsh as it sounds, I had no negative or positive feelings towards any of them. Fast forward to when I was 15, and this was when the relationship between myself and her children really took a turn for the worse. My father got diagnosed with Oh no. As soon as he was diagnosed, he wrote a will and left me everything. The house, the cars, his money, his savings, his other properties, his business, literally everything. The will was left with his solicitor and a copy was given to him. He placed this with all his other documents in a secure place so people would know if anything happened to him, what his wishes were. My father was given the all clear after a year of getting treatments and surgeries. It seemed as soon as he was given the all clear, my stepmother found his will and exploded. She came into my room with her oldest daughter, who didn't even live with us at the time, screaming at me, telling me that I had manipulated my father and to get out of her house right now before she calls the police. I was 16. How had I manipulated him?
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
I can't believe you've manipulated your father into acting and behaving the exact way he's always acted since forever.
Get out of my house.
Yeah,
Go.
get out.
16-year-old? That's insane.
But yeah, she's just mad that she ain't getting no money.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, you'll never see anything get between people faster than money.
Money. I left. As I said previously, nothing these people could say to me would ever bother me. They were irrelevant to me. I rang my father and informed him what had happened. Also said previously, my father is emotionless. I have never heard him change his tone of voice, let alone get angry. He turned up to the house within 20 minutes of getting my phone call, and as soon as he was back, he told my stepsisters to leave so that he and my stepmother could talk. My stepsisters came outside and all four of us were there, and I believe for the first time in my life, I heard my father raise his voice. I couldn't make out what he was saying, but after 5 minutes, he came out of the house and told me to get into his car. We were going to get food. That's scary. It's like,
Yeah.
we're going, get in the car.
We're gonna go get food, and then you're
food.
trapped.
Yeah. In the car, he went back to his normal self. My dad's never tried hiding anything from me, so I asked what he said to my stepmother. He had told her everything he owns goes to me, and that will never change. The next few years, I don't think my stepmother or stepsisters spoke to me. Maybe menial things like hello, goodbye, but definitely not a conversation. Not until I was 18. When I was 18, my dad and stepmother gathered me and her children and informed us all that they were buying a new family home. My stepmother's oldest daughter said, "Oh, that's nice. You'll get a good price for this one." And before my stepmother replied, my father interrupted and informed us all that he wasn't selling. He was giving the house to me. Whoa.
Oh,
Giving the
mama.
house to OP.
Oof.
This was his house. He had bought it before he even met my stepmother. Every one of them turned and in unison began screaming at me how I take all of my father's money and things along those lines. I didn't even know my father was giving me the house. I didn't even know he was buying a new one. My oldest stepsister began hysterically screaming for me to give her the house. She had a husband and a child. She needed it, and I was going to uni, so I didn't. That's a lot of information to be thrown at you and then screamed again at you.
Mhm.
Just
So
in anger.
do we think that screaming at OP and demanding that she give you the house is the best way to go about this situation?
You
Even
know-
from a selfish perspective.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think screaming to get your way is ever going to actually work.
Yeah.
My father then piped up with his calm, unchanging voice that the new house being bought would be split equally between himself and my stepmother. So when they pass, I would get his 50% and they would share their mother's 50%. This did not help the situation, and instead, I began getting screamed at more.
So-
Just give her a break.
But they're going to already have another house.
Yeah.
They're buying another house.
Yeah.
OP's getting the original house that dad bought for himself. I don't see
Yeah.
why we can't just all get along here.
It's like, well, he's not dead yet, you guys. He hasn't passed away yet. Like, you don't need to be thinking about what you're going to get when he passes right now.
Yeah.
You don't need to be getting mad about that. Like,
Yeah.
That's kind of dark to do, man. I don't know. I was indifferent to them, so it didn't really faze me, and we moved on. 12 years later, I am now 30 years old. My stepmother and my father have been broken up for about 3 years. Whoa.
Oh.
Still living together, just completely separate.
Oh, that sounds
Wow.
fun.
That's crazy, man. I haven't spoken to my stepsisters in 10 years, even though I see at least one of them every other week. My stepmother got diagnosed with terminal. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Can't get a break. She only had 12 to 18 months to live. She moved in with her eldest daughter due to needing round-the-clock care, and my father couldn't provide it for her. So 4 months pass, and none of them have contacted my father, not once. He had a stroke and ended up going into a coma. Whoa.
Oh my God.
After being in the coma for 2 weeks, I reached out and let my stepmother know. I didn't delay on purpose. They just never crossed my mind.
Which I guess is,
That's
again,
pretty
it makes
funny.
sense. It's like everything has always been separated.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years now since the
Yeah.
previous part of that story we
Right.
just heard.
Don't blame you. The day after I informed her, I went around to his house to collect all of his documents in preparation for his passing. I wanted everything ready rather than having to search for it, and his locks had been changed. This didn't bother me. I just went home and forgot about it. 3 weeks later, my father came out of his coma and was due to be sent home. He was severely unwell, but he was alive. So I went round to my stepmother, got the new keys, and took him home. After a week of being home, he received a letter from his pension informing him of a beneficiary change. So he rang, and his pension had been changed into my stepmother's name.
Oh, financial crimes. Here we come.
What? Now, my father had 3 private pensions, and every one of them had been changed. His signature had been forged on documents.
Felony.
We then went through every important thing that was of value you, pension, cars, bank accounts, everything.
Mhm.
She had changed all of my father's car logbooks into her name and his pensions.
Mm.
In total, around $850,000 worth of assets and money she would have stolen if he had passed away when he was in his coma. $850,000.
I wonder if this is like the crime equivalent of like unrealized capital gains,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, you almost stole $850,000 worth of assets, but because
Right.
you didn't, technically you're not going to go to jail.
Dude, I don't know though. I think she should.
I think she maybe might need to go somewhere
Yeah.
for almost stealing nearly $1 million from this from
Yeah.
OP's dad.
Yeah. 'Cause it's not like he was just like alive and well and she did this. Like he very well could have passed away
I
and
think
she was doing this. So
the forgery you can definitely get got for.
for sure.
Right, but you can't. I don't think you can get got for like stealing $850K because you didn't. You tried to. You wanted to. So I'm sure there's a different crime corresponding penalty for that.
Dude, I don't know. However, the one good thing from this was when we rang the mortgage company for the property they had bought together, they had informed us that the property was in fact bought on a joint mortgage, which means both of them own 100% of the property. If one dies, the survivor gets 100% of the property. This wasn't an issue for my father. He said she could have 100% if he passes away before it sells. Once confronted with the attempted theft, she just said, "I thought you would have wanted me to have it. I thought you would have wanted me to have it."
I'm gonna go to the bank and do that same thing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
steal all the money out of the vault, and then when the cops arrest me, I'm gonna say, I just thought they wanted me to have that money.
Yeah, I thought they just loved me really
And they'll
much.
say, "Oh, okay, you're just a little baby. Okay, we'll let you out. We don't have any room for babies in
Yeah.
jail,
Yeah.
so we'll let you go."
Exactly. After this, the relationship between them soured. They both wanted to sell the house. However, she wanted 100% of it. But they agreed that he would get 30 and she would get 70. He was happy to give it to her. So we were going through some more of his documents and found his life insurance documents. I knew my father was wealthy, but I never imagined how wealthy until I saw how much the life insurance policy was for, and I was downed as 100% beneficiary. Wow. You're getting banked, dude.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Whilst reading through the life insurance documents, I noticed a small section on a cohabiting policy. So my father rang them and they informed us, yes, even though I was down as beneficiary, she would be still entitled to claim 50% because they are legally in a cohabitation partnership. Doesn't matter that they are no longer together. They have a joint mortgage, which is all the proof she would need. So, okay, let me get this straight. They have a joint mortgage. So that means that if he passes away, then she still has access to like 50% of...
Well, she gets the house. The joint. I
Right.
think the joint mortgage is
Oh, okay.
is a different thing.
I see. The 50% that she would be getting would still be
It's from the life insurance policy. I think the joint mortgage and the cohabitation is more of just like a
just a
like it kind of
about
just
the house.
gives more weight, like, or what's it called, credence. It's like it solidifies the life insurance policy more because it's like,
Gotcha.
well, you guys have a joint mortgage and you're
Yeah.
cohabitating.
right.
So it's like, yeah, she is still entitled to 50% of the life insurance policy. 'Cause I think that's the point of that. I don't know.
That's crazy though.
I don't know.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, I would say stop living with the woman who tried to
Yes.
steal everything out from under your daughter's nose.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, while you were in a
Absolutely,
coma
yes.
and didn't care that you were in one.
Yeah. So after my father had taken a turn for the worse, and after speaking to a solicitor, me and him devised a plan. We had asked the solicitor to send a letter to them informing that my father would not sell the property unless it was a 70-30 split to him. To be honest, he probably is entitled to that because she never paid a penny for anything. He didn't care about the house, just the life insurance. Now, one of my stepsisters is a solicitor, and we were hoping that her first reaction would be to ensure that her mother got at least 50% and not 30.5. And we were correct. A week after our solicitor sent the letter, we received a notice of severance from my stepsister informing my father that on the grounds that he and my stepmother had split, they are both entitled to 50% of the house. This is what we needed to legally show that she is no longer cohabiting. Okay, so it seems like we're on the right-ish track.
Yes,
yeah?
we are playing the game.
Playing the game. My father passed 3 weeks after we received this.
Oh, man.
Whoa. Oh my gosh, I
Dang.
was not expecting that to happen. At his funeral, my stepmother and stepsisters turned up and they were joyous happy and laughing. This didn't really bother me. I knew how petty they were and expected it. Anyway, 6 months after my father's funeral, my wife and child were out with friends at a play area for the kids, and my eldest stepsister was there with her husband and children. I could see them staring and giggling, and eventually they came over. They mentioned the house and how we tried and failed to rob 20% of it from them and some other things. Then she started to say disrespectful things about my father, and I snapped. I told them we didn't care about the house. My dad didn't want my stepmother to get his life insurance.
Oof.
My stepsisters went quiet for around 30 seconds and then started asking what I meant. I just grabbed my child and me and my wife left. The next day, I was bombarded with phone calls asking what my father had left me, and I told them every single thing I got in inheritance. I told them right down to the last penny, and then proceeded to brag about how we needed them to file for the severance because if we did, they would block and delay it, suspecting something. He's just like monologuing their evil plan to these these people now.
Well, yeah, I
great.
mean, I think at this point, I hope at least at this point, there's nothing that can be done. His father has passed away. None of the stuff that has been laid out can be changed.
It's been done.
It's final.
Got everything. I was then nonstop harassed for the next couple of weeks, being told I didn't deserve the money, that I should split it 4 ways because he was all of our father, not just mine. Then the threats started, and I received a letter from my stepmother's youngest daughter, who was a solicitor, informing me of legal proceedings that they were going to take.
Blah, 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 blah. There's just get over it.
Nothing you
shouldn't
can do.
You deserve absolutely nothing. You showed up to his funeral and you laughed and smiled.
Yeah.
You're basically cartoon villains.
Yes, that's evil.
Yeah.
Evil talk. So now, after 4 months of this, we were informed today that they have no legal claim to any of my father's inheritance due to all his paperwork, will, and beneficiaries on his policies, which he was in sound mind when he completed. It has ruled in my favor.
Indeed.
I received another phone call from my eldest stepsister after I found out about winning the case, begging me to split the money and assets or at least give them the money from the house that my father and their mother owned together.
Dude, that's going to be the biggest no from me of all time, my guy.
Yeah.
I have one question. Did you laugh at my father's funeral?
The answer is yes.
About that 20% that we failed to get from you? Were you laughing and smiling and giggling about getting the one up on my dad?
If that answer's yes, this answer's no.
Come on.
Come on.
And if you say no, then I'm going to be like, oh, there was someone who looked exactly like you at the funeral who did that. That's crazy. You should go find your doppelganger. You want to make some money? You want some real money? Go find your twin and you can make a whole circus act with you and your doppelganger.
Whoa, he's got $1 million ideas over
I'm
here.
full of them. Call me E.B. Barnum or whatever. TB, what was his name? What was his first name?
I don't know.
Barnum?
PT.
Oh, P.T. Barnum. Yeah,
P.T.
I
Barnum.
said E.B. Barnum.
EB.
I think that's actually a guy. That's a character from Perry Mason. I'm going to stop now.
Working.
Turning the brain off.
Turning the brain
job.
off. But I want you to turn your brain on and go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and go search up OK Storytime. Where, what are you going to find, Dakota?
You're gonna find like 1,200 plus hours of stories to listen to.
Dude, so many stories.
Full episodes full of stories just like this.
Full of stories, and we got some more to this story, but do we have any final thoughts before we roll on in?
I just really like that the time jump between like, yeah, so they submitted all of this paperwork and they're like, we're gonna sue you and like take the money, and then it was like, so I immediately won the case, and it's like, so there was nothing going on there. They had no shot. And I'm glad, because honestly, the absurd disrespect of like going to the funeral and openly basically being happy that he's passed because
That
like
is an insane,
you
evil
win
thing.
financially from it. Dude, it's so gross.
They just don't go to the funeral. If you are happy that someone has passed away, don't go to the funeral.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly evil and disrespectful.
Don't come to my house. Don't call me.
But we do have a little bit more. So, my wife believes that I should just give them something to leave us alone, but that would go against what my father wanted. Me and my wife both earn good money, so we wouldn't miss it. And the only one of my stepsisters who earns decent money is the solicitor. The other two are desperate for money. But when I think about it, I'm constantly reminded that I don't actually care for these people. So why should I help them out? So, am I the a-hole? We do have a quick edit just to make it clear. Oh, my stepmother passed away around 3 months ago. So the house was sold for $1.2 million. So they did receive inheritance, around $200K each, assuming that she left equal amounts to each of her children. And that is it. So they just still
Dang.
want even more money.
I would say womp womp,
Womp
to those, you know.
womp.
Look, and it's like, I don't know. Is there a situation where you could be the a-hole here? It's like, maybe. Like, you know, I would say if there were like kids involved, it's like maybe if you've got the money to help set them up like positively in the future, because the children
But
are
it's-
innocent.
Yeah.
But there's no kids in this context
Well, I mean,
that I see. You have your
yeah.
own kids.
Got
You
your
got to
own
watch out for
kids.
them first.
and it's
you know?
just like you don't owe them anything. You literally don't owe them anything. It was
Yeah.
They were always mad at OP for like getting things from the father when it was not OP's choice at all. OP was just
Right.
like, I just found out that I'm getting this. Why are you mad at me?
Yeah, they're like, you manipulated your father.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm 16. I'm learning about trigonometry.
Exactly. So it's like, what is the point? Like, they never cared about OP. They never were nice about this whole money thing. It's just, no, you're definitely not the a-hole. Keep your money. You don't owe them anything.
Yeah.
My best friend passed away. Now I'm rethinking my relationship with my girlfriend.
Oh dear.
All the names have been changed to protect the guilty. Hi, I, 41 male, have a daughter, 13 female, who is the light of my life. And her mother passed away during childbirth. For the past decade, I've tried dating, but with disastrous results. By the way, this comes from Live Long and Profit. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, a year before my daughter, call her Stephanie, was born, my wife Joy bought me a border collie pup who I named Flip. That's cute.
That's amazing.
Somehow, it was Flip who managed to keep me sane the first 2 years after my wife's passing. He was my best friend. He guarded Stephanie and protected her like he was an extra dad. Steph loved Flip so much. Every vacation, every trip, she insisted on bringing Flip. And of course, that was more than okay with me. Last year, I finally struck gold. I met Donna, 39 female, who helped fill the void in my life with Joy's passing. She's warm, kind, and intelligent. She took Stephanie like a champ, and even though she doesn't like jobs, Flip won her over. Everything was looking up. Donna moved into my house a month ago. So Donna moved in. Big. Ooh. Well, Flip developed. No, not Flip. And I had to take him to the vet to be put down. I'm not ashamed to say I cried the entire day. Stephanie, too. She's devastated. When I told Donna, she said, oh, well, time to get a cat now so we can both enjoy a pet.
Ooh, yeah, that was the wrong thing to say completely.
What the F? I couldn't believe what I heard. I told her my best friend passed away and she's so dang dismissive. She replied that it's just an animal, no biggie. My heart shattered all over again. Of course, Steph heard the exchange and now doesn't want anything to do with Donna. Won't talk to her. I made up the guest room and told Donna she's sleeping there for a while. She got mad and is now not speaking to me. I'm thinking of breaking up with her because she can't see how much Flip meant to us. She seems unable to see my emotions are valid. Flip was a dog, but more importantly, he was family. She can't see that. Right now, I'm heartbroken and exhausted, and I want to sleep for a while, a week, but I needed to vent here. Thank you, Reddit folks, for reading. I appreciate you all. There is some relevant comments and an update. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, why would she want to get a cat with a mindset like this? It's just an animal, no biggie, says no cat lover ever. She's a fraud. OP responds, I really don't know what they have to think. Not in any sort of headspace for rational decisions. Another commenter asked, did OP's girlfriend have any problems with dogs? OP, she's not neurodivergent. She's had pet cats before whom she loved. She's had experience with the loss of a pet. Her tone was so dang dismissive. I can't get it out of my head. Commenter 2, what the F? Even if Donna isn't emotionally bonded to Flip, it doesn't excuse her being cold-hearted and dismissive about it. She should be concerned that the people she loves are upset and hurting instead of talking about another pet that you and Stephanie are not ready for, knowing that you're deeply grieving Flip. In my opinion, this is break-up worthy for me. Pets are family, not possessions, but this is all up to you if you think couples counseling can still help. Seriously, though, if she can't be kind about you and your daughter grieving, I wonder how she would react whenever other tragic occasions happen to your family. Yeah, is this an indicator of a broader lack of empathy? It would be like, crying about something and your partner being like, oh, that's not worthy of crying over.
Yeah.
without fully trying to understand what that thing. It would be like, let's say you had a shirt that meant a lot for you from your dead wife, right? And that shirt got lost or got ripped, or damaged or something, and you were crying about the shirt. You're not crying about the shirt. You're crying about everything that it meant to you and like the attachment to your wife and like the moment that it had, right? And so you just being like, oh, it's just a shirt is invalidating the whole emotional context of what that thing is.
Yeah. Or being like, oh, finally glad we could get you a not ugly freaking shirt because like your shirt's freaking ugly.
Commenter 3, I would have punted her out of my life then and there. And commenter 4, looks like Flip is watching out for you beyond the grave. It's strange how his passing revealed that woman's true character. You can and will do better, bro. Big hugs. I'm so sorry for your loss. And OP responds, Flip was the best, smart, intuitive, and well-behaved. I knew he would pass away someday, but the reality is crushing. And let's get into the update.
Let's do it.
As always, the names are fake. Hey, I'm more than stunned by how this thing took off. Thanks to all the well-wishers and those who message words of support. It means a lot. For those crying fake, I hear you and understand a lot of Reddit seems to be BS. Thanks to all who thought to reply for both positive and negative inputs. Went to work for the overnight shift, and my partner Tanya, who I worked with for 4 years, had a present for me, a small chocolate cake shaped like a dog bone and with Flip's name on it. Now that's how you react.
Here we go.
I just about lost it. Tanya's the best and a great coworker. Her husband is a good friend too. We talked and I showed her the post. She's no fan of Reddit, but understands that I need to vent. After work, I picked Steph up from school and we had a long talk in the car. I told her I was going to talk to Donna about how her words hurt us and asked if she wanted to be part of the conversation. She said no, but added that she trusted me to make the correct decision. My kid is awesome. So I sat Donna down after she came home and we had a heart-to-heart talk. She grew defensive and almost got up and left, but I told her if we couldn't talk this out, there was no future for us. Then I showed her the post. As she read the comments, she started to cry. After a few minutes, we talked about it, and it came out that she considered Flip to be part of my old life that I had with Joy, and that with this passing, I could continue to focus on our relationship more. Question, John.
Yes.
What else do you think she might consider part of his old life?
His socks, his house, his coffee maker. Where is the line get drawn, Donna?
His kid?
Oh my.
If she's thinking this about the dog, why would that logic not apply to his kid? That's what I would be thinking.
That's scary
Scary
and crazy.
and crazy. And we've had this before. We've had people that are like, oh, like, I don't like that your kid is in your life because it reminds me of the old life that you had with the woman that has passed.
Yeah, and it's like, sorry I didn't kick my child to the streets. My bad. Come on.
To be honest, I almost lost my poop right there, but I managed to stay calm. Anger is a secondary emotion indicative of deeper trauma, so I kept that in mind during the conversation. I told her that Joy and Flip will always be part of my life, just like Stephanie, and nothing can change that. Stephanie is his kid. I said that they are part of me and helped shape the man I am today. If she can't recognize that, understand my pain, and feel empathy, then this relationship is doomed. To make a long story short, she's moving out. We are taking a break from each other for a month or two to reflect on our priorities. Not that I need that. I know my priorities, my needs and wants for a relationship. She must decide if it coincides with her. That's it. It's late and I'm bushed. Not working tomorrow, so I'm going to help pack Donna's things. Thank you so much for your support, folks. To all the animal lovers out there, always trust your heart, and may God bless and keep you. We got some top comments. We got an update. But what do you think about OP's choice?
I mean, again, once it spills into kid territory, it's like, this isn't a, buy one, get one off. This is a 2-for-1 deal. In this case, a 3-for-1 deal for any fur babies, fur children that are in the picture. So yeah, I mean, if OP's like, if it's come into question of like, okay, are you not going to accept anything that was in my own life, including my kid? Then yeah.
Yeah. I think the reasoning of what she says makes it so much worse.
Yeah, it does make it so much worse. Have some empathy with a person who lost their partner, man. That's tough.
Yeah. But we got some top comments.
Oh, here we go.
Commenter 1, I'm so sorry for you and your daughter's loss of Flip, and I'm so proud of you for trusting your instincts. Commenter 2, I'm sorry. I had a feeling it was going to be like that, but better find out now before she starts turning that energy onto your daughter. And people like this surely do. And commenter 3, she's known she will not respect your wife's passing. She was not seeking to add to your love, but to replace what was already there. And commenter 4, Donner sounds very immature and emotionally stunted. For a 39-year-old, I think as you reflect, you will see the real person who's a lot more shallow and shellfish than the one you thought her to be. You will thank God you took the stand now for both you and your daughter. Update 2. We got an update.
Here we go.
The stand's not even just for them two, but it's also for Flip.
Yeah. Stand for Flip.
Stand for frickin' Flip.
Don't disrespect your dog's memory.
That's right.
Hi. The mods asked my second update, so I'm going to submit it here. First, Steph and I are fine. We had dinner with Tanya and her husband. It was a good evening. Donna is gone for good. After thinking it over, I realized we were never going to mesh well and be healthy together. Not going to go further into that conversation. Addressing the comment I made on anger being a secondary emotion. Learned that through grief counseling. Did a lot to deal with the loss of my wife. Someone said Steph sounded too mature. She's 13 and not a moron. She can be surprisingly mature when she wants. Although I did have to put our conversation into my own words as she included cringe and douche nozzle, her favorite word these days, as I don't put up with swearing by either of us. We'll get another dog soon. No dog can replace Flip, but I want someone there with Steph when I'm not home. Gonna go search for a rescue. Let Steph pick them out, and we'll see where that goes. And we want to see you to go watch full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime.
Go do that.
There's another relevant update. But John, how are we feeling about where things are landing?
You know, I think this was a thing that exposed the other things that happened. So you know what? I think all's well that ends well.
Yeah. But let's get into this update. So, gonna get Tanya and her husband a gift since I leaned on them so much during this BS. Tanya was the one that got the little dog bone cake. She was the first to hear of the Donna situation before I posted to Reddit.
I see you.
Not gonna date for a little bit. So darn ponderous, and this is all too fresh. Thank most of you for your sage advice. It echoed what I was thinking, but because the pain was still fresh, my mind was jumbled. Nice to get a second opinion from people with no skin in the game. God bless you all. And that is where that story ends.
Let's go.
I really like where we ended.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're getting not a replacement Flip, but a new dog to, I don't know, just like spend time with, you know?
My roommate is trying to replicate my friend. I had to warn her.
Geneva Convention. Cloning is illegal.
Now this primarily involves me, Soulberry, 29, my roommate Cassie, 26, the girl she's stalking, male, 28, and Simon, 31, male's fiance. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
the weekend.
The whiteboard.
Yeah, welcome to Whiteboardtopia. Also, what is that name? Male? Mael?
I might have mispronounced
M-A-E-L-L-E.
it. I'm going to say male.
Male. I'm just going to say male.
We live in a city of almost 2 million, but somehow everyone this nerd circle knows, or at least knows of, everyone else. By the way, this comes from Soulberry at 1031. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I moved to this city for college and ended up staying, as a lot of people often do. I was living alone until I met Cassie through a mutual friend about 3 years ago. I come from a very stable home life. Subtle flex, but okay. I have a very close relationship with my mother and stepfather, and I have twin younger brothers that I talk to daily. Cassie, on the other hand, the roommate, I think,
Yes,
was raised by
correct.
her aunt and uncle. Yes. And was on and off medicine, I don't know what for a lot of her middle school years. I'm already detecting some judgmental vibes from OP and some superior than now vibes. But
What do you mean? She's just talking about the medicine she was taking with no ulterior connotations whatsoever.
I am sensing things. She has no
Mhm.
siblings and avoids calls from her aunt, only talking to her maybe once a week. She has her quirks, but I thought she was a well-adjusted member of society. I am hating OP more by the minute. Maybe prematurely. We shall see. Cassie and I were at a convention roughly a year ago when we met Simon and Male. They had just moved to the area, and Simon, Cassie, my roommate, and I hit it off. We found out that we all had quite a few mutual friends, and our friendship was solidified when we all saw each other at a party a week later. Male was really quiet and reserved the first couple of times we all hang out, but eventually we were all getting along very well. Simon and Male are somewhat of a power couple, if that's the correct word. They are both attractive. They have good careers, but they also have a very visible and active presence in these subculture communities and a myriad of hobbies both within and outside of the community. Don't tell me this is another niche community, please. Fenny says it's May-L, but unfortunately I have already said male.
So that is what we're sticking with.
I've also wrote it as male.
Male.
So it's
Hello,
going to be male.
A lot of friends surrounding them, and their condo is often the center of operations for weekends, outs, or parties. Male is very no-nonsense, take-charge kind of person, and Simon is very goofy, open, and welcoming. They're both very social, basically, and after we met them, Simon and Male got engaged. Shout out to them. It was a long time coming, apparently, and everyone was thrilled. I know that Cassie has a crush on Simon. Oh, okay. I wonder if that's going to pop up later. Not surprising. He's very good looking and charismatic. I thought that it was something very innocent, as she had crushes on other people in our friend circle before, but sometime after they were engaged, I can't remember the specifics. I wasn't writing anything down at this point. She said that she was going to flake on plans to hang out at their house and play board games. When I asked why, she said that Male and Simon had been fighting a lot recently and it made her uncomfortable. This is suspicious.
Why are we around when they're fighting all the time though? What's going on? What they're not roommates.
No.
They're not roommates.
Nope.
So why does it matter would you fight that they fight a lot?
That's the question, because OP and Cassie are the roommates.
Yeah.
As we know from the board.
I'm just trying to figure out
whiteboard.
how that behavior clues into the fact that she has a crush on Simon.
I think we're building up to something.
Like,
I think there's a build up. I was genuinely surprised, as I wasn't aware of her being over there without me, and every time we were there, everything had seemed normal. Cassie insisted that they'd been fighting, giving each other the silent treatment, and kind of joked that I was normally so observant, but I hadn't noticed this. She then said that she wasn't surprised, that Male was a cold-hearted person, and Simon honestly deserved better.
I see it now.
Better like you, Cassie?
Yeah, so she's making all this up.
You were my roommate, but you want to make a home in his heart. Don't do it. This seemed like a pretty intense escalation to me, as she had never had a problem with them before and got along with both Simon and Male. So I suggested that she skip hanging out and take some time to draw things out. She apparently did this a lot in therapy, and making these flow charts seems to help her with graduate school anxiety, worries, and difficult decisions. That's kind of cool.
Okay, we have coping tools. That's nice.
Coping tools. We like that. She instead asked if I was still going, and when I said yes, immediately said she'd go. Oh, okay, I'll go. All right. I'm gonna go. Dakota.
Just let them be.
No. Cassie has to take him. I didn't want to discourage her, but I said that if she felt uncomfortable, she should tell me, and we would leave. We went, and she would laugh and joke with Simon, but when Male spoke to her or asked her questions, food, drink choices, for example, she got visibly uncomfortable and would kind of shut down or pretend not to hear her. Simon would glance between me and her a couple of times, but no one said anything, even Male. I hadn't seen Cassie act like this in a long time, and I resolved to talk to her about it when I got home. Well, that never happened, as we ended up staying the night over at Simon and Male's place and going out to brunch the next day, where Cassie seemed perfectly fine with Male. This is strange. I don't know. Something's very off.
This is starting to get afraid.
Yeah.
My fear levels are growing. Like I'm feeling like the Jaws music starting to play, like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on in this time. Cassie, it seems, wants Simon, but there's something else that's weird that's going on. I feel like I can't put my finger on it. Chat, comment below what you think it is, because I'm not sure. Thought it had blown over, and Cassie didn't say much about her from then on, so nothing sticks out in my head until Cassie announced a couple of weeks later that she had a boyfriend, Chad. Okay, so maybe we're in the clear. Maybe Cassie is distracted and doesn't go after Simon. Cassie has always been bi, but she's casually dated women exclusively since I met her, so this was a new development. I asked if she'd ended up bringing him around, if she wanted to switch beds. Her aunt ended up giving us mattresses a couple of years ago, and I took the bigger one at Cassie's insistence. At first, she said yes, and then changed her mind, saying that he lived alone and it was easier to go over to his house. Over at his house, do you say?
Yes.
Despite this, she never spent the night there, although she'd vanished to his house for hours on end. After she got her boyfriend that I never met almost 2 months later is when crap really started getting weird. Cassie started getting oddly obsessed with things she'd never cared about before, like skincare and hair care. Her face started breaking out like crazy, and it seemed to really frustrate her. This is a freaking true crime mystery. She was getting packages almost every other day from Amazon or other places. I found a pamphlet on our side door table for laser eye surgery. She has glasses. She got a brand new phone out of the blue and started going to her school's gym and starving herself and then binging the next day. That does not sound good at all. And constantly told me that she was starting to lose weight. She was looking so good. Her front airbags were getting smaller. I thought,
Damn.
Oh man.
I thought that she was really talking about her car for a second there. That's our censoring, ladies and gentlemen. The airbags in the front of a woman. If you didn't catch that,
All natural airbags.
all natural. They are naturally shrinking, ladies and gentlemen, according to that line in the story. Now, when I was folding laundry one day, I found a shirt that was not mine and would not fit her. When I asked her about it, she quickly snatched it away, saying that she bought it for when she would be fit enough to wear it. We'd always watched TV shows before, but she was spending an abnormal amount of time on her phone now. She mentioned setting her phone to French because she wanted to learn another language, and I told her to talk to Mail or another friend, Stephanie. Both are trilingual. She said she'd never ask Mail for help and asked me to not talk about Mail around her.
Okay.
Okay. Just to get a pulse on the chat. Let's put up a poll. Cheating or not? Is Cassie cheating with Simon or not?
No.
No?
No.
You say no.
Oh.
Pray tell why?
She is currently
Yes.
attempting to become male. Down to
Right.
speaking French, changing body types, changing clothing tastes, changing everything about me. I want to be male.
Oh.
She wants to be a male lady.
When I asked why, she said it seemed like Mail was mean to her and Mail's behavior gave her anxiety. At this point, I started writing things down as warning flags that were going off, but I had no idea why, what they meant, or how to handle it. OP has got to Scooby-Doo this thing because this is getting nutty. By the way, only 9% say cheating. I think Dakota's probably right, but there's still a chance. There's still a chance that's what's happening, but I digress. Which brings us to yesterday when I got a text from Simon after I came home from work and Cassie had left me a text saying that she was at her boyfriend's word for word off of my phone. So this is Simon. Simon, hey, are we hanging tonight? Me, I had no plans. Why? Simon, just saw Cassie leaving our development, wondered if we forgot about plans we'd made. Mail's working overtime tonight, so I'm sorry if there was a miscommunication. OP, there wasn't. I had no plans to hang out and neither did Cassie. Simon, okay, nice. Just making sure. See you on Sunday. I thought about texting Cassie at this point, but decided against it. She came home that night and her hair was dyed dark brown.
Let me guess who's got dark brown hair.
Paula Abdul.
Could it be male?
It's Paula Abdul.
Well, Paula Abdul definitely does have, as we all know, icon Paula Abdul has dark brown hair.
Sorry, guys. But maybe Mail does too.
Where did Paula Abdul come from?
Hey, I can be random. I can hang with the boys.
Now I'm thinking of how good she dances.
Oh God. Keep it out of your mind,
She's a
soldier.
great dancer.
Oh God. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
You're You're a regular Cassie going for Simon over here over Paula Abdul. Oh God. So I mentioned that Simon had texted me about seeing her leave the development and she denied being there. I showed her the message and she read it before handing it back to me and saying that she didn't think that there would be any board games on Sunday. When I asked why, she told me that Mail and Simon were considering calling off their engagement because Simon wasn't happy with Mail anymore. When I asked her what made her think that, she got defensive. She said Simon talked to her more than I realized and that they had a real connection and that she was privy to all kinds of terrifying things about Mail that Simon had told her. She pulled out her phone and said that I should believe her, but if I didn't, she'd show me the proof. For some reason, seeing the phone was the turning point for me, and it hit me all at once. Are we ready for it? Are we ready, ladies and gentlemen?
Let the tide roll in.
Let the tide roll tide. Well, Male had dark brown hair. Male had the exact same phone that Casey suddenly got and set it to one of Male's primary languages that she speaks, French. Male didn't wear glasses, but Male did have Ray-Bans in the exact same style that Casey suddenly bought pointlessly because Casey did not wear contacts. I'd never met Chad, but all of her descriptions of him sounded suspiciously like Simon. Tall, tan, black wavy hair, and really dark brown eyes. So I asked to see her phone, and she basically flipped out, saying that I should trust her on principle, and we're friends. I wanted to ask her about everything I'd noticed, but I had no idea how to bring it up, so I sort of choked on my words. I mean, how would you? Hey, I noticed that you're becoming a carbon copy clone of our friend Male. Are you trying to steal Simon away because you think that'll work?
The only way that you get anything positive out of this situation is if you come to your friend like, hey, don't fight back with me on this. Just know I do see that you're copying Male. Hey, I'm not going to judge you. Just going to let you know that Simon's not just going to randomly forget about his fiancée not being you. Like, you're just not going to ever be that woman to him. You're Cassie. She's Male.
This is a tough one. I'm honestly torn between that and telling maybe Simon or Simon and Male. I don't like. It feels like she's so far gone that I'm almost wanting to have Simon and Male ready to protect themselves. I don't know. This is so weird. This is so strange.
Yeah, I don't know. The blind one says you do not do this one-on-one, not safe. I don't know. It's like you gotta make a judge of like how unhinged is Cassie really behaving.
Yeah.
Like, you just put her on blast. Like, dude, like Simon told me you were like outside of their development. Like, what's going on? Like, why are you doing this? There's other men.
But
Simon is not the last man.
But there's only one Simon.
Simon Cowell.
Whoa.
We've gone full circle, folks.
We've gone full circle. Thank you, Dakota, for completing my circle, my brother. Now, Cassie used the opportunity to yell at me again for not trusting her, started crying, and said that she was going over to Chad's, slamming the door on her way out. And wouldn't you know, the address is 123 Simon's house. Just kidding.
1, 2, 3, Simon! Simon's backyard!
Yeah.
In the bushes! 1, 2, 3!
Now, after a couple of minutes of just standing there trying to process things, I started snooping. I know I shouldn't have, but that's water under the proverbial bridge at this point. I started in her bathroom where I was faced with an unfamiliar array of French skincare products and really expensive shampoos and conditioners. The first drawer had all of her old stuff, Suave, Substance Store,
Substance store?
Pharmacy store, skincare stuff, etc.
Can we not say that? Can we really not?
Hey,
That's
substances, man.
crazy.
And the second drawer had more of old stuff with a paper list in it. I opened it and found a bunch of things written down, divided by lines. I realized after a moment they were brands.
Oh,
No free
gross.
sponsors.
Bleep all of those, editors, please.
Yeah, come on, don't be doing that. Divided by types, skincare, clothes, etc. Also written were seemingly random words like yoga, bangles, and peacocks. I am very worried about Cassie's sanity, insane in the membrane.
This is an acute mental health episode.
Maybe
It's chronic. I don't know how long this has been going on, but it's like, this is unwell behavior.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fixation. It's an obsession. It's like anyone who's in their right mind would look at their behavior doing that and being like, oh my God, wait a minute. What am I doing? I'll never just be able to replicate this person. Like, I have to let go of this. This is silly.
Cassie worked a part-time job and not have a lot of money to spare, so I was wondering where she got the money for this brand new range of stuff and wondering if that's why her skin was so bad now. I opened the third drawer and sort of got this horrible sinking feeling. The third drawer had a bunch of things of males in it. Lipsticks, hair accessories, an effing pouch with her name embroidered on it that I didn't open and a bunch of other stuff that I didn't take stock of. After seeing this, I immediately texted Simon with, "Hey, is Mail missing anything from her bathroom?" Simon immediately called me. Yes, Mail had been missing things for a while now. I explained what I'd found, and Simon was just as confused as lost as I was.
Oh my God. This is the Hey Arnold gum shrine in Helga's closet.
Helga.
For all my Nickelodeon children,
Yes.
this is the gum shrine that Helga had of her sick obsession
Yes.
with Mr. Arnold football head.
Yes. Dude, that was me, bro. I was straight football head
Yep.
over here. There she
That's
is.
it.
There she
This
is.
this is her the secret drawer. And again, I think it's more to like Mail. Like she's obsessed. Cassie's obsessed with being this woman
Yeah.
who's with Simon. It's not even so much Simon as much as being the person Simon wants, not being with Simon
Yeah.
in a way. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because it's my girly, you're stealing her bathroom products.
It is reached levels of like, we got to get something involved. So Sophia Callan says, get a restraining order if you can. She could literally end up 6 feet under. Yeah, we don't know how low she's gonna go. So I think that's fine. Just as a precaution. Now, all of this ended with him asking me to just remove those things from her bathroom, put them in a bag, and meet them the next day to pick them up so I could explain to Mail. He said that I was still welcome in their house, but Cassie wasn't welcome anymore. He then said he'd call and tell her this and hung up. I gathered all of Mail's things and moved them safely to my room. And when I came back out into the living room, I had 5 rambling texts from Cassie. In them, she blamed me for ruining her chances with Simon. She accused me of destroying our friend, which, good. He's taken. He's
Right.
a taken man, and you should not want to clone yourself to get him at
Exactly.
that.
Don't do that.
Hello. She accused me of destroying our friendship by going through her things, saying she'd never forgive me and that Mail was a witch who was lying and trying to frame her to keep her and Simon apart. I immediately called Casey, and it rang once before it went straight to voicemail. At this point, no holds were barred. Her laptop was on the arm of the couch, and I opened it.
All right, brother, we're doing the wrong thing now.
We don't need to do this.
We're doing the wrong thing.
Protect yourself, but yeah, leave it to Beaver. Leave it to the police or somebody else. At first, I was going to go on her Facebook, but everything was right on the desktop folder in a folder named NNNNN. Pictures of Simon from Instagram, Facebook, what little pictures Mail had posted on social media, and screenshots of her Twitter updates, pictures of their house, the bathroom, the inside of Mail's dresser drawers, pictures peering through the windows of both of their cars, and a picture of Mail's engagement ring. I immediately got the contents of the folder and emailed them to myself from Cassie's email account. I tried calling her again and was shuttled to voicemail. I was considering going into her room, but thought that might have also been crossing a line. So I just went into my room to take stock of what Cassie had stolen from Mail. She had taken jewelry, a lot of stuff from the French pharmacies, tampons, calling cards, ointments, a lot of lipstick, some skincare, mostly sunscreen, hair accessories, some things definitely from her bedroom, a small pink socks, for example. So I'm at a loss. I'm convinced there's no boyfriend of Cassie's, but I have no idea where she's been when she says she's at his house. I'm convinced that something is very wrong with Cassie for her to be so weirdly obsessed with Mail, but I have no idea what. Mail woke up with the flu this morning, so we are not meeting tonight. That also,
oh my God.
that also greatly concerns me. That also greatly concerns me.
Ooh, this is poisoning territory,
We're
my
getting
guy.
into biochemical warfare over
no.
here.
We're getting into KGB tactics territory.
Cassie hasn't been home since she left yesterday. I tried calling her twice today. Simon texted me briefly earlier in the day. Aside from that, I haven't spoken to anyone else about this. We have an update. We are not even halfway through this saga, ladies and gentlemen. But my God, Coda, please, Riley, please, brothers, What do we do here? What do we do here?
I think maybe it was good to get on the computer and get those files.
I say bait them in.
Hmm?
Bait them in.
Bait them in?
Bait them in.
Oh, bait them in.
Yeah.
What do you mean? They're
Like-
there. There is no bait. They're already in it.
Yeah, but you catch
She's
them in the
taking
act.
photos of them in the bushes.
Are you saying bait Cassie?
Bait
to-
Cassie in. She broke in. Get the cops involved. Boom, you're stuck.
Oh, a
Home
sting
Alone it.
operation.
It's a sting. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wow.
But if you know Cassie's family, talk to them maybe, or inform them that she appears to be going through like an acute episode.
That's a good point too. Yes.
So this is like reach out to whoever you can.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we got an update, and I'm afraid, but I'm going to dive right in. Sorry for the radio silence, and thank you for your concerns and messages. A couple of things I want to address. I own my own apartment, and it has sliding doors in all of the rooms, hence my comment that I probably couldn't install a bathroom door lock quickly and easily. So, point number 2, Simon and Mail's condo has keypad locks. They changed the combination last night, but the computer records of when it was unlocked, it does not show when it was locked, don't suggest that anyone was in their condo during the day when they were at work. We were over at their house at least once a week, sometimes twice, so it's not unthinkable that Cassie could have taken those things while we were over there. Mail thinks she has food poisoning. She was feeling ill on Thursday after a company lunch, and a coworker from her department apparently called off yesterday too. She wasn't feeling well enough last night to see her and her maid of honor at her condo. Simon told Mail everything that I told him around the time I made the post, and Mail was understandably freaked out about the whole thing. Friends normally aren't welcome upstairs in their condo at Mail's requests. I've never seen Mail in Simon's bedroom or their bathroom aside from those images on Cassie's computer. So the fact that she was snooping around there made Mail furious. I wrote the original post about Thursday's events yesterday around 5 or so. After I wrote the post, I was texting quite a few people, one of whom got a hold of Cassie's aunt, Mary, on my behalf.
Marie.
God, I keep mispronouncing names.
It's like,
doing
well, it's
terrible
because
today.
you had that. You got the Mael
Yeah,
at the beginning, and you're like, Mail. All right, now everything's getting a little French when you do it.
let me just ruin everything from here. Marie called me around 7 p.m. The aunt, and we spoke for almost half an hour. She had told me that Cassie had struggled with depression and a type of dissociative disorder when she was in elementary and middle school as a result of being in foster care for over a year. Wow. I asked if Marie wanted me to alert the police, and Marie said that she would do it. Okay, to Dakota's point, we are now getting the the monkey out of our circus.
The
And
pertinent parties are involved now.
pertinent parties are involved. As far as I know, the police in my area and Cassie's hometown have been told that she's missing and know of her current mental state. Oh, wow. Now she's declared missing? Dude, the ante is upping over here. After I spoke with Marie, I took a long shower. I came out to find missed calls from both Simon and Mail, as well as one of our other friends, Shane. Shane is a gym buddy of mine, an ex-military. Simon has called him to tell him and let him know what's going on, and I called Shane back first. He was going over to Simon and Mail's just to make sure everything was all right, and he wanted me to come up with him and spend the night there. I agreed, and I called Mail back to make sure that she was all right with that. She didn't answer, but Simon did, and he was in agreement with us spending the night. Dude, you know what would be the craziest plot twist ever? If Simon did end up with Cassie. Can you imagine?
No.
That would be crazy.
Nuh-uh. That'd be like if Sauron got the ring at the end of the Lord of the Rings. That'd be like, it was just like, and they lost.
I'm just saying. It'd be crazy.
Mhm.
Packed up a bag, Mail's things, and Cassie's laptop, and drove over to Simon and Mail's. She had just gotten out of the shower as I arrived, and she looked like she was definitely recovering. We settled into the living room, and I gave her the bag of what was missing, which Simon put upstairs without her looking at it. Shane and Simon spent a good portion of the night playing Mario Kart with us, while Mail alternated between playing and chatting with her maid of honor, Susie, who had come over after Simon had told her what was going on. Susie left at around 10, and afterwards, Mail went to bed. At around midnight, Shane and I decided to go to bed as well. Simon went upstairs, and while Shane went to bed immediately, I opened Cassie's laptop. Aside from the pictures, there was not much else there, and she hadn't logged in on Facebook from her browser in so long that it had been logged out and I couldn't access anything regardless, so I gave up and went to bed. At around 3 a.m. in the morning, I heard a car door slam shut outside.
It's her.
It immediately woke me up, and I opened my eyes in time to see lights flickering inside the window. Assumed this was someone's car lights flashing when the lock button is pressed, but I wasn't sure. I definitely heard footsteps on the wooden steps leading up to the front porch, and that's when I reached over and woke Shane up. Shane shot up and turned on a floor lamp, and I heard whomever was on the porch running back down the wooden steps. Shane unlocked the door and threw it open, and we saw a car speed out of the driveway and take off down the road. I asked Shane what color the car was, and he said he couldn't see it in the dark. Simon and Mayall's road is not well lit. Closed the door and debated waking Simon up and calling the police. Ultimately, we did not wake Simon up, but Shane went outside to call the local department and asked if they send a couple of cars up and down the road. Shane lied and said that he'd seen Cassie's car in the driveway, and while they said there wasn't anything they could do, not surprising, they'd have their cruisers in the area start looking for her car, and they'd send someone to patrol the condo area. Okay, maybe, not much faith in anything happening, but maybe.
Yeah. I mean, but it's possible if they were in her car, but if they're not, then it's like, it doesn't matter. And then you're just going to have the cops be like, yeah, I mean, I guess like next time call us when they're here. And it's like, well, they were.
Sorry, I'll use my tractor beam to hold them in place next time.
Maybe one day we'll have teleporting police officers.
Maybe. When they come fast like 911 in white neighborhoods, they don't know if it's good or bad.
Is that a Kanye bar?
No, it's not.
No.
No.
Actually, it's probably the opposite of Kanye, which is J. Cole.
Yes. After everyone woke up this morning, I made breakfast and mostly hung around talking and playing the occasional Mario Kart. Mel said that she was going to attempt to file a report for theft of her things, but as she had them back now, she wasn't sure if she could file a report based on hearsay. We discussed her options, what she could do, and relayed that what Marie had said about Cassie's mental state. Mel is more angry than freaked out and seems to have her wits about her. When I told her about the pictures, she just laughed in disbelief and shook her head. She agreed that Cassie was mentally ill and said that she hopes Cassie gets help, but she would never come over to their home again, and asked me to refrain from inviting her and Simon to any event that Cassie would be at. They both blocked her on social media, and Mel even deleted her Twitter. Simon's uncle is a police chief who works in another state, and they are getting ready to call him after I left. Now, when I got home later on, the apartment didn't look like it had been visited by Cassie. I did a walkthrough and nothing seemed missing or out of place, so I then left around 2 to go to a prior engagement. At around 5, Marie called me again. She said that she hadn't heard anything from Cassie and our city's police hadn't seen her car. They were working on getting the police to track her credit or debit card transactions. Banks closed early today in my country and won't reopen until Tuesday due to holiday, so it's been hard to get a hold of anyone. Also, this is sounding like Europe.
Yeah, maybe it's happening in France.
Oh.
Could be in France. These all sound like vaguely French names.
Ale.
Somewhat France.
Male is très France.
Simon. Yeah, look, honestly, at the end of the day here, all of this is like Cassie is, and I think maybe this is why OP prefaced this whole story at the beginning with like, she was on medication in her youth and all this stuff. Where it's like,
I forgot about my prejudging.
Had a history of mental health problems.
I mean, honestly, shout out to Mail. I think her comment was good. Like, hey, I hope she gets help, but I also need to, protect myself and.
Oh, 100%.
She seemed very upset, and I promised her that I would keep her updated if I heard anything. Cassie's uncle will be driving into the city about 4 hours away if they don't hear anything from her or the police by tomorrow morning. Shane is staying over at my apartment tonight. And aside from that, there's not much else I can update with. I'll be changing the locks tomorrow with his help, and at Shane's insistence, we child-proofed the doors with knives and kitchen utensils in them to make sure they're more difficult to open. Update number 2. First things first. Cassie has been found and is willingly doing 3 days of psychiatric inpatient evaluation.
LFG?
Okay. This is positive progress.
Yes. Where did we find her?
That I hope in a good place. Maybe we're about to see. To clarify a couple of things I saw brought up in my last post. The goal was always to find Cassie. I tried texting and calling Cassie a couple of times a day since Thursday. Shane has known Cassie for almost 6 years, and there have been constant phone calls and messages back and forth with all of our mutual friends. Some of them know the full story, and some don't, but we're all keeping an eye out for her. Comments on the internet are their own animal, but I will say that while I was worried for Cassie's safety, I also had a responsibility to Mael and Simon to tell them what I knew and not keep them in the dark. Mael and Simon are rightfully upset, but I won't turn Cassie away if she chooses to stay in town and live with me again. I don't know about you, Dakota, but I don't know if I want to be living with Cassie right now.
It would be totally understandable to be like, I can't live with this person again right now. Like right away.
Not right now. Not right away, at least. Right?
But yeah, me personally, I'm out.
Marie and George, Cassie's uncle, knew that I had her laptop. I brought her laptop intending to check her Facebook Messenger history to see if she'd been communicating with anyone else over Facebook. Marie knew that I was going to do this, but it didn't work, as stated in my previous post. After Shane and I woke up on Sunday, I had an email from Marie saying that the Uncle George would be getting into town at around 9 p.m. and he wanted to meet with me at my apartment. I texted Cassie again and didn't get any sort of response. Games at Simon and Mael's were on as usual, and because of everything that happened, word spread fast despite our efforts. It seemed like a lot of people wanted to take the opportunity to see them. There was almost 20 people there. I don't know, man. That feels like kind of a lot.
We're doing a lot, aren't we?
We're kind of doing a lot, a little bit. Which is how I ended up in the basement playing board games. At around 7 p.m., a friend upstairs started calling for me. When I went back up, she pointed to my bag and told me that my phone had been ringing constantly for the past 5 minutes. I fished it out and I had 3 missed calls from a number I didn't recognize but had our area code. I wonder who it could be.
I'll give you one guess. Cassie. Yeah? No?
So I immediately stepped outside to call back. We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Without going into boring details of the greetings, the number belonged to Elsie.
Elise. You're overachieving.
Elise is/was Cassie's long-standing friend with benefits and is one of a couple people that we know do not hang out with people from the nerdy hipster group that they're a part of. Elise had called me because, of course, people had been talking. I can't remember what the exact conversation is, but it basically went like this. Elise, is Cassie in some kind of trouble? I heard this morning that she tried to attack a girl. Me, no, she made some pretty weighty comments about a couple of friends of ours, and when I asked for proof, she started crying and said that I didn't trust her and that I was choosing them over her, and that she was leaving to go stay with Chad. Elise, what? No, she's been here. Cassie's with me.
Boom. Elise is Chad.
Oh, no. I basically felt like a bomb had been dropped into my stomach. Cassie had come over at around 2 a.m. on Thursday night/Friday morning as Elise and her boyfriend were getting home. All Cassie told Elise was that she'd had a nasty fight with me and wanted to give it the weekend to cool off. Elise, knowing how Cassie can get with her anxiety, didn't press for any details. They spent Friday just hanging out and took off to the mountains all day Saturday to go hiking. I asked where Elise and her boyfriend were on Friday night/Saturday morning, and she said they'd basically smoked and went to bed around 1 a.m. Cassie didn't smoke with them, but she did leave at around midnight to grab donuts and other things from the store. Elise couldn't say if Cassie went to bed with them or not. At this point, I asked where Cassie was now. The big reveal. She and Elise's boyfriend were picking up dinner, and she wanted to take the opportunity to call me about what she'd heard while they were out. I said that her uncle and aunt were insanely worried about her, and the uncle was driving in town around 9 p.m. today. Elise asked why he was in town and why he was worried, and that is when I told her the full story.
Oh, my Lord.
Yep. Getting crazy. Crazier than it already is, and that's already pretty crazy. Right as I ended, however, Elise told me that her boyfriend and Cassie had just pulled up and continued over text. We agreed at first to meet at the wait.
Yeah, wait, what?
Elise told me, that Elise's boyfriend and Cassie just pulled up.
Okay.
I was like, is Chad real? Dude, imagine if Chad was like a carbon copy of Simon.
We're uncovering a global doppelganger conspiracy.
Wow. Dude, this plot goes deep. So over text, we agreed at first to meet at a restaurant around 10, and then Elise drastically changed it to her house, giving me the address and telling me to come over as soon as possible. She said it would be easier to keep Cassie in than drag her out and possibly cause a scene in a restaurant. After this, I went back inside, but it was a bit hard to focus on the party. I decided instead to step out and call the Uncle George. After greeting him, formally introducing myself, I told him what I just heard. He said that he'd been trying to text/call Cassie as well, and he had gotten no response. He sounded extremely relieved and a bit choked up when I said that she was safe and staying with a friend. I told him that Elise had agreed to keep Cassie in and have us over so that way we could talk to her, and he immediately agreed to that. I went back inside and found Shane and another close friend of Cassie's, and I pulled them aside to tell them everything. By the time I was done, it was almost 8 p.m. Shane and our friend both agreed that while they wanted to go, it was probably best if it was just me and Cassie's uncle, as they didn't really want to embarrass or freak her out. I left the party 30 minutes early to go get some coffee because I was starting to get really nervous about confronting Cassie. Around 9:15-ish, I parked on the street a couple of houses away from Elise's, and I waited. I saw a car pull up on the other side of the street maybe 5 minutes later, and the Uncle George walked out and over to my car. After confirming it was each other, he reintroduced himself and made a couple of small jokes. I texted Elise to let her know that we are there and that he had asked to go in first. I was more than happy with that, and we rang the doorbell. And then Elise opened the door.
Okay.
Elise's house turned out to be a foyer setup, which means that the front door didn't open up into the living room like I'd hoped. We had to walk in and go down a hallway to get to the living room. When George turned the corner, I sort of stayed behind. I heard all of the talking go silent, and I heard Cassie start. George immediately walked into the living room, and when I finally turned the corner, he was sitting on the couch with his arm around her. Cassie eventually saw me and just started crying harder. Oh. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Cassie definitely has a strong mental illness. And I wonder if because it seems like she was normal or like she was doing very well before all this happened.
Yeah, whatever the combo may be, it's gonna have to be strong.
That's
I don't know. It's like it was a lot. A lot.
It is a lot.
A lot of deception, a lot of obsession. None of it healthy.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like channel that into a hobby.
Please turn the TV off. And brought a chair out there for me. And all three of us, Elise's boyfriend was there, but was put in a very awkward position and just stayed quietly. Firmly stated that we loved her and cared for her, but that she needed to schedule an appointment to see a psychiatrist. George took it a step further and insisted that she see someone now and that he wanted to take her to the hospital downtown. By the way, if you are looking for a release to help with your very stressful life, because this is a stressful story, go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, the iHeartRadio app, your favorite pod app, and search OK Storytime. Because why, Dakota?
Because that's where we are.
That's right.
That's how you find us.
Full episodes with stories just like this, 2,000 eps.
Oh, had you not said that part yet?
I hadn't, but that's okay.
My bad.
I just threw you under the bus over there.
I blacked out because someone in the chat said strong mental illness is crazy, and I was like, oh, that's not what I said. I thought.
I think I said that. So that's directed at me, which is fair.
I said whatever she needs to address it is going to have to be strong.
I might have said strong mental illness.
Yeah, but
that's on me.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it is, right?
Okay. All right, boys and girls. So, getting back to it, Cassie didn't say anything for a long time. She mostly just nodded, cried, and listened to us, and eventually verbally agreed with George. Elise said that she's packing up Cassie's things and to give them to me later, and that Cassie and George could leave now if they wanted. Cassie turned to me to ask about her car, said if that was okay with her, someone to drive it back to the apartment. She agreed, took the keys out of her purse, and started crying again as George walked her out into his car. I hadn't seen Cassie and George since Sunday, although both George and Marie texted me back to thank me. Cassie's living situation is still uncertain, but I hope I'll know more tomorrow when she's released. Thanks for hearing me out. It was nerve-wracking to go through it. And that is the end of this story, but I'm lying to you.
Psych, it's not the end.
Because Riley has found an update for us to read.
More.
Here we go. So, final updates. Me, 29 female, and my roommate, 26 female. Really messed up situation. I'm starting to feel the consequences of it. So Cassie went batty over Mail and Simon's engagement pictures, and they're excluding her from the save the dates and the engagement party. I would hope so. She's now living with her aunt and uncle 4 hours away and cannot contact anyone. So I'm not sure if I should be writing this update. This entire thing from the beginning to end has been 100% effed up, and I am so exhausted and my nerves are totally shot. I swim for endurance. I do MMA, and I got sick with an ear infection that started 2 weeks ago. Jeez. I'd been working from home, and when I typed that last update, that was actually my first day back into the office. And rushing to get out of the house, I left my effing phone at home. I don't live far away from work, and I wasn't planning on going out that night, so I just left it at home knowing that I could go back on my lunch break if I wanted to get it. So I got to work, and it was really slow in the morning for me, and that's when I typed the original post. My coworkers and I usually go to lunch around 1:30, as one of our peak times for work is during regular lunch hours. We have up to an hour for lunch, and normally we take all of it, so we get back around 2:30, and I'm almost immediately calling another worker's desk help to fix a problem. When I finally get back to my office, I see a voicemail light on my phone flashing. The voicemail function is so sparsely used by my clients that I barely remembered my PIN and have to double check it. The message was something like this. Hey, I'm looking for OP. This is Simon. Please call me on my cell phone. And again, this is the Simon from before who Cassie was obsessed with and, became his fiancée very creepily.
Yes.
So my office is pretty far removed from the rest of the cubicles, but it's doorless. I do have my cell phone with me, and while I was able to look through the call history and write down his cell number, I didn't want to be making a personal call from work. I decided to go over to my boss, James, and ask if I could run home and get my phone. I vaguely explained the voicemail and say that someone might be trying to get a hold of me urgently. He says it's fine. I know it's kind of dickish of me, but the second I got home and looked at my phone, all I could think of was that I was going to have to take 2.5 hours of PTO because there was no way I was getting back to work. I had 42 unread text messages and 3 calls/voicemails. The text messages were mostly from Simon and Shane, and I saw Elise and Marie's names mentioned as I scrolled, as well as another unmentioned friend. I sat down and started with Simon. I scrolled up from the first message, which was essentially, Simon, I don't know if you're aware, but Cassie attacked Mail.
No.
I'd seen the mention of hospital in Shane's most recent message, and I swear this is the first time in my life I felt like I was going to faint. I quickly scrolled through Simon's messages. Basically, Cassie had attacked Mail in a parking lot as she was leaving a restaurant with her coworkers. She had grabbed Mail's bun, and her head got hit on the ground. As Mail's coworker, Karen, let's say, shoved Cassie away, something happened, Simon didn't say, and Cassie somehow gave Karen an orbital fracture.
I know what happened. Strong right.
Huh?
A strong right is what happened.
Oh. I
this
thought you
girl's
meant,
needs to be in prison now.
Yeah, these are crimes.
Cassie needs to go to prison.
These are crimes. This is very, very dangerous. Husband and wife ran over and apparently wrestled Cassie to the ground with the other 2 coworkers, and the police had been called. Mail and Karen had been taken to the hospital. I immediately called Simon before checking the rest of the messages, and he didn't answer. I checked Shane's message next. Cassie had been arrested a couple of counties over where Mail worked. Mail had been taken to a hospital and message, call me ASAP. I had only one message each from Elise and Marie, and both were essentially, hello, please call me. Marie's text message was dated barely 5 minutes ago. I didn't want to call Marie. I wanted nothing more than to never talk to Marie and George again. I felt like I had failed them somehow. I justified it at the time by saying that I didn't have any facts yet, and calling Marie wouldn't do either of us any good. I called Shane instead, and he almost immediately answered. He was still at work, but on a long break, and he filled me in with the rest of the story. Now, Shane and Cassie are very close. They have known each other for over 6 years, and they have a pretty solid bond. Cassie was upset of all things. Mail and Simon's engagement photos had been posted at the end of June. That's what triggered this whole thing. I thought we were getting into her, a psych evaluation and getting her into a hospital, and maybe.
Well, she might have access to a psych evaluation in jail in whatever country she's in. Look, and I'm not over here I love jail. I'm pro jail, but it's when you become a physical danger to others.
Yes.
In a way that's not just oh, you scraped my arm. It's you could have ended my life.
Yeah, literally.
Time to go to jail.
Whenever they texted or spoke on the phone or went out for a midnight fast food, she would bring it up. Shane's tried to steer the conversation to other things and she'd be okay for a couple of days, but then Cassie would bring it up again. And one night a couple of weeks ago, while they were at a late night burger / shake place with another friend, Cassie just stood up and left out of the blue. After she didn't come back for a couple of minutes, Shane and our friend went after her and she burst into tears. When Shane asked what was up, it turns out that our friend and Shane's phones had gone off at around the same time. It was a Facebook message from Mail asking for addresses from everyone to save the dates and engagement party invitations. Cassie had been holding his phone and watching a video at the time, apparently. He strongly suspects that that is what set her off. She saw the wedding invitations come in and knew that Simon was getting married, and of course she wasn't getting an invite. Yeah. Sophia Callan says she needs rehabilitation. It's a tough situation because will she consent to it? But can we get her some help? This is what we need to avoid situations like what happened. There wasn't much left to say after that, and we promised to keep each other updated. After I got off the phone with Shane, Lisa almost immediately called me. I shuttled her to voicemail, and I tried to call Simon again. I didn't get an answer. I went out to get in my car and go back to work, and as I pulled out of my driveway, Simon called me back. The call itself was pretty mundane. He asked what I knew, if I'd spoken with Shane. I told him I did, and we discussed it briefly. I asked how Cassie knew where Mail would be, and he said that she told the police that she didn't, and she'd been in the area and ended up in the same restaurant as them, and had quote-unquote lost her mind when she saw Mail. Cassie and I live almost 30 minutes away from where Mail works, and while there's a lot of real cool shops in the area, I've never heard Cassie say that she went there before. So it's smelling like she didn't just happen to be there.
Yeah, you don't just happen upon the message and then you happen upon them at a restaurant and then you happen to send them both to the hospital.
That doesn't just happen.
You wanted to do this.
That is right. He said that Mail is fine, but has to stay in the hospital overnight because she hit her head really hard, and Karen has a really huge black eye, but probably would be discharged by the evening. Karen was currently talking to a police officer, and he was waiting for Mail to get back from an X-ray. It was embarrassing to admit, but while I was on the phone with him, I started crying. I apologized for not being able to control Cassie's behavior, but because I ultimately introduced Cassie to Mail and Simon's life in the first place. I understand that it's irrational. Simon was very understanding. He assured me that he and Mail didn't blame me or anything like that, and he made tentative plans to invite me over that Sunday for coffee since games were pretty much canceled for the week. I didn't end up going back to work, and I did end up calling Marie much later that evening. What I discussed with her is probably not okay to type out as it's currently an active lawsuit and whatnot. So, I mean,
yeah,
not a surprise, but we've reached that point.
Some details may be redacted.
Mm-hmm. I met with Simon and Mail on Sunday, and it turned out to be an okay crowd. Shane wasn't able to make it, but Susie and another close friend of ours was there, and Mail insisted on normalcy, so we all ended up having a really good time. Simon told us about Labor Day plans, probably deliberately, so I didn't feel left out, and we made no mention of Cassie. On Wednesday, Shane, Marie, and George came over to move Cassie out. She's being pulled out of her graduate program for now and is living with Marie and George. I didn't see her at all. Shane quietly told me that she went from jail to Marie and George's hotel room and hasn't seen anyone. Marie and George took her cell phone and laptop from her. I helped her as much as I could before I went to the gym, and Marie gave me a very warm hug as I left. I'm honestly not sure how much they know / understand about what's going on, because when I came back, there was a stack of papers on the side table by the sofa. Some were just grad school papers and flowcharts, but a good majority of them were printouts of Simon and Mail's engagement photos.
I don't know how you deal with this. I don't. This is out of my tax bracket. This is out of my league. This is out of my area of expertise. I don't know what to do. My gut is telling me she needs to be and I don't know if this will make her better, she needs to be locked in a basement for 6 months. Yeah, I feel like if you just purely isolate yourself from the world and all of your triggers, and you just dig into your own noodle up here.
Yeah.
Maybe you can unlock the secret to changing your ways. And then of course also if you could get real therapy and actually work through it. My problem with that is I think she'd probably be fibbing.
Yeah, we need a for lack of a better word, hospital level rehabilitation level psychiatrist.
Yeah,
that's going to really walk Cassie through. Again, I could be wrong. We didn't get as much context, but it seemed like before all this went down, she was, operating well and stable and all that jazz.
Sophia Cologne says, Dakota, that's how you make people get worse and get out to do worse things. Yeah, like I said, this is too much for me
Yes.
to know how to deal with.
Yeah.
My instincts may be wrong.
We are not the
But I
the
think
people to solve this.
if I was her and I saw an alert that then made me go into a rage, I'd be like, I need to lock myself away for 6 months.
But Cassie's gone. She's got a rough couple of months ahead of her, and my friends have been paying so much attention to me that it's almost annoying. This is the first night since this BS went down, and I've been able to be by myself. I'm sorry I didn't respond to anyone in the last post, but honestly, I never really want to log into this account again after this. Typing it all out was cathartic because all of my friends seem to want to avoid the topic for now. I know they're worried about hurting feelings or overstepping boundaries, and they're wonderful in that sense, but sometimes a girl's just gotta vent. Girls just wanna vent. Wanna vent.
Girls, they want to be male. Male. Girls just want to be male.
Yes.
Ba-ba. So they get married to Simon. Girls.
We are getting the strongest hook cartoon pulling out ever. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am afraid to say that's the end of the story. Please let us know what you thought in the comments below. But if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And
and see you tomorrow.